Hello there, survivors, and welcome back to ARK Survival Ascended. And I almost can't quite believe it, but it's been a year of me playing and building in this game. So today I figured we would go around and take a look at all of the best builds I've made in 1 year of ARK Survival Ascended. It sounds quite crazy when I say it out loud, but yeah, it's been a year. We've done many builds, from rebuilding ruins, from small starter houses, big modern tech bases, ocean bases, you name it, we've got it all. And today we're gonna try and take a look at all of them, and we'll see how long that takes. It might take a while, but yeah, hopefully it will be fun. And of course, we have to start where it all began, on the island, right here at this ruin, which was actually one of my first projects. Well, actually it was my first proper building project, so that's where we're gonna start, and we'll visit many more builds along the way. Hello there, everyone. Hello there. Welcome in. So yeah, we're here on the island, which is currently, of course, on my community cluster, so you can actually visit these builds on the island yourself as well. But yeah, this was my first project, first ever base. We actually got my little starter house right there. A little bit of Christmas fight, but that was my first little house, my first tutorial. And yeah, we've done some other projects like the big workshop here, some other ruins over there, little guest house over here as well, and then of course the stable area all the way in the back over there, and then some little things in between. But I mean, yeah, this place will always have a special place in my heart, of course, because it was the first base I worked on. All right, let's take a look at some of these buildings, and for a lot of these there are actually videos on the channel as well. This is the guest house. Never really was properly used, but it's just a nice little ruin rebuild, turning these ruins into bases. And the hardest trick is, of course, getting all these entrances to line up with the actual ruin that was already there, because I mean, yeah, they don't always actually line up properly. And this had like this staircase back here as well that needed to line up, and then you needed to line up this layer, of course, because I mean, yeah, it all needs to work, it all needs to connect. But we made it work. We even made a little wall. Not very nice, I'm not a big fan of the wall, but kind of needed it here in this area because it's quite dangerous out here. But yeah, for this one I really like how I was able to still give it my own spin with the building, but also kind of integrate it with the ruin that is already here, because it partially has a roof on it, which always makes things a little bit more tricky. But yeah, it turned out pretty nice. And then of course we've got the little starter house over here, which is still a very nice little starter house. It's not too big, not too small. You have plenty of space to get some storage going and your early crafting, whatever you need. And especially by adding a little platform on the outside around it, you do actually have plenty of space. Yeah, having a tech generator is probably not something that you would have in a starter base, but that, you know, happened over time. Yeah, we got all the things accessible here. Maybe I should actually take this guy just so that it lights the fires if there are any. Yeah, we got all the little Christmas decorations out here still. Got my little bridge of artifacts on here. But yeah, the house itself, it's nice and simple. It's definitely a very nice and easy starter base with some storage down here, Christmas lights, and then my bedroom up here with some extra storage. It has been upgraded since. You most likely won't have this glass wall. But yeah, there we go. And then of course connected into the ruins, because that's the big thing about this base. It's all connected, so yeah, you can actually walk down these ruins, go back to different levels. Right now some of these big ass spiders have been hatched here, so they're currently parked in these layers. But yeah, that's the cool thing about having a base like this in the ruins. is that you already have a lot of infrastructure in the base, as you can see, which I try to kind of respect and follow, you know. There we go. So yeah, this brings you to the other side of the base, and the other side of the gate. We'll go over to the workshop in a little bit, but first let's check out some of the builds up here. Yeah, and I do like the look of the wood and stone. It feels very ARK, you know, not too modern, not too fancy. Feels more suited maybe in some cases. But yeah, we got a little greenhouse in one of these ruins as well. You know, have to make it work. It's not been used in a while, as you can see, but yeah, had to fit one of these ruins to be an entire greenhouse area. And then over here we've got the custom stables in the half circle design that I made, which is quite nice. I'm actually also kind of using this just as the wall of my entire base, so this would house plenty of different creatures, because I mean there's a lot of space in all of these different sections to store plenty of creatures, maybe that you're breeding, stuff like that. Would make it quite easy. As you can see, there is definitely some breeding going on here with the owls, with these spiders, with the wyverns, the quetzals, not the gigantoraptor, and all these spiders were to get the biggest spider. That is how that works in ecology. So that's why there is a ton of spiders in my stable. But yeah, you know, you have quite a lot of space in here, and then of course you've got like a main gate in there. That's why it works well as a wall design as well, because well, you can pass through it here. And I think some people, when I made the tutorial for this last year, they actually went all the way around. They just continued going with the design until they made a full circle. So yeah, that does in fact work if you want that and you need that much space. Hello there, welcome in. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the base. We should be able to go in right here and continue our way into the ruins. So yeah, there's a few more buildings of course here. Most of them aren't actually being used because that was way too much space for me to be used by myself, but we've got more of these ruins that have been completely rebuilt. Some of them connected up with each other because well, why not? It feels very lived in. So yeah, continue your way over there as well on the ruin, or you can actually go into this building already, which I used as an aviary for some time. So I had a lot of Argentavises breeding up here. There's some beds in here as well, just extra respawn points when necessary. And then I guess this is technically also a small dino pen with this gate attached to it. But yeah, then you also have the normal ruin way to go back there. And there's a lot of little ways in these ruins. It can be quite a maze if you don't know the way around. But yeah, you got this little building over here as well. That's just kind of filling in these ruins because there's so many little rooms everywhere. Coming back out over here as well. And then yeah, you had this little side building here, which is another ruin that's been rebuilt. You can look out over a little bit of the workshop that's in between, and you also have a nice little view over here as well. Just a lot of interconnected buildings at these ruins, which was quite fun to work on early on in my ARK adventures. And yeah, then we can go down here and we're at the main little workshop, well, big workshop that I made when I was running out of space at my starter base. So this is where I have all the bigger crafting things and more storage, etc. Big doors though, so you can easily fly in, drop your gathering stuff right off in the base, start smelting or whatever, and of course enjoy the view, because this was always kind of my dino pen as well. That's why I have the big gates around, so I could just easily store my dinos down here. But as you can see, I kind of last used this place around Christmas last year when we had the Winter Wonderland event going on, and we did all the decorations for that. But yeah, it still is a very nice base in my opinion. I love rebuilding ruins, and as soon as we have some good ones to do, I might give that another go. Actually, there's some ruins on Astraios that I might be tempted into rebuilding as well. But yeah, for our first base, I'm always happy to see this place again. So yeah, definitely a good one to visit. But we have many more places to visit on the island, let alone all the other worlds as well. So let's see what our next destination will be. Hello there, welcome in, Mr. Johnny. All right, let's see what would be a good next place. What was one of the bases that I built next? I don't really know even what I did next. I did so many things. Let's go to the little Viking house, because that's also a small starting base. Hello there, there's Rexes everywhere. Mr. Mad Dog is back on Twitch, giving away 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you so much, dude. You are back. You have some Rexes to announce your entrance as well. Welcome back. Let's wait a moment for these Rexes to pass by. There we go. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Here we go at my little Viking house that I built here on the island. Another like little smaller starter house that you could quite easily build early on with a small little dino pen. I mean, it's not gonna probably keep out the biggest of things, but if you just, you know, need a little area to breed some of your smaller creatures, this would be quite nice. And it's just a nice look as well, you know. It's like a little farmstead almost. And then, oh, it's gonna get very foggy here, of course. Welcome back to the island. Yeah, we got a lovely little cozy interior as well. Try to make that as accurate as possible. With a little bit of storage, crafting, and everything you need, but still making it nice and cozy and feel like a Viking might have it. And then up here, of course, you've got room for your beds and a little bit of extra storage. And I guess also a tech generator, because that's definitely what you would have at your starter base, right? It's not just me, right? No, those are, of course, to just easily travel around. But yeah, this was my first Viking build, and it's quite funny seeing this. I mean, later we'll pass the recent Viking builds. But yeah, I was always really happy with the way the color of the roof turned out, because as you can see, it's a really good match with the grass around it. So yeah, that just makes for a nice little blend. Yeah, exactly. All Vikings had tech, of course. That's just the way. Let's go into the cozy snow cabin. There we go. It's a little cabin out in the snow. Again, another one that you could definitely use as a little starter base. Probably not in the snow area though, because I mean that wouldn't really be a great place to get started. There's definitely some Winter Wonderland vibes going on here as well. But I do like this. Just a little house, not too much. You could quite easily build this on your first day playing on the new map. Have a little house, a little stable here on the side for your tames. And yeah, a little build on the inside. Actually, now with custom cosmetics, I think you can actually get rid of the snow effects on some of these structures on the inside, which would be really good. But yeah, there we go. It's a really cozy little cabin. Utilizing some of these to have some extra storage above your entrances. A tiny bed. I mean, it does have pretty much everything that you would need to get going. It does have a smithy, although the Christmas tree is kind of blocking that out a little bit. But it does kind of have everything. And then the forge is out here, of course. Yeah, just a nice little cozy little lodge. I know, it's almost time again. We're gonna repeat events soon. Like, we're gonna get the turkey trials for the second time in this game. Winter Wonderland is gonna pass by again. Like, it's all been a blur, really. I remember so well working on all these things, and now they're like a year old, or are going to be a year old. It's insane. All right, let's see. What else should we look at? Do we have other little starter places? I guess Hagrid's hut is a good one. There we go. We're at another base. Let's quickly go outside. And there we go. My first little version of the Hagrid's hut. I technically built a second version with some modded structures later on the center, of course. But this was the original one, utilizing some of the turkey trowel stuff, because if there's any food in here, it actually turns into pumpkins. Let's see. Can we do that? Well, you can do that. There we go. We've got some pumpkins now. To, you know, make it very suited for Hagrid. So I guess now with the Fair Ascendant event, we finally have proper pumpkins. So I could add those to my little vegetable patch garden out here. But yeah, we got a little garden, as Hagrid would have. And just a little hut. And again, it's another little design that you quite easily could use as a starter base. But it is nice and cozy, you know. I kind of like these smaller bases, to be honest. I built big so many times now, but sometimes all you really need is one of these small bases. And, you know, you have a little place to discuss things with your tribe. You've got your crafting stations. I mean, for some reason, this fire is not turning on, but that's fine. Or is it just visually not on, because it was hurting me. We got some storage over here, and of course a little bedroom, as well as a second entrance or exit. Yeah, it's just a nice little cozy build, but I do really like this one. Although I do really prefer the modded version with the different roof pieces, especially because that just feels a little bit more appropriate for what it needs to be. All right, let's see. What other places should we visit? Or, well, what should we visit next, I suppose, is the bigger question. I guess let's just make sure that we go by everything. Let's go from the bottom to the top. So we'll go and visit the tech base first. And there we go. Oh, looks like we have some friends parked down over here. Look at this. It's being used as a little bit of shelter. But yeah, this was my first big modern tech build. And I called it the ultimate base because it was basically showing that I'd beaten the island. I'd done it all. And I was kind of waiting until Scorch was dropping at that point. Can you believe it? Well, we're a little bit later into ARK now, but yeah, this was what I built, and I'm still really happy with this design. Actually, this might still be one. This is definitely still one of my favorite designs. I really like it with the double A-frames, and then of course you've got the big square boxes sticking out of it, but then with the diagonal lines on the sides. I think those work really well to add some shape to the build for sure. Yeah, it's just something about this that I really like, especially since it was my first like modern build. And yeah, I still think it holds up. I really do like the way this looks. So yeah, you have plenty of space. You've got the big hangar in the middle where you can have some of your bigger tanks parked. You've got a storage on the right, crafting hall on the right, and then some dino stuff on the left. So you're hatching and breeding and whatever you want to do, you can do it over there. And then we have a living quarters up here, as well as a greenhouse. And of course, just plenty of space everywhere on the roof and everything. So, yeah, there we go. Well, it's funny that you say that an A-frame and a futuristic base is my dream, but it wasn't really. I always preferred like more medieval or at least like rustic builds, but people kept asking if I could try one, and then this is what I did. Now I do quite like them. They're quite fun to work on, but mostly I like just to have the change. That's why I do so many different styles usually, because I just prefer that. Yeah, so this is what it looks like with the whole dino quarters. So you've got everything to store kibble or eggs and you know, have all your cryo storage that you need. You can make more kibble, whatever you need. Hatch eggs, grow your dinos, breed them. All the dino stuff happens right in here. And then on the other side, we've got the, well, now it's also being used as the community center, but this is where we have the whole storage system. So you have a lot of storage, including some dedicated storage as well, of course. But yeah, plenty of storage and a little crafting station if you need it. But then you have the main crafting hall down here with your big industrial forge. The replicator easily fits inside, including all the other crafting structures that you would need. And you still have room to spare, so it doesn't have to feel too crowded. And this location was pretty nice as well. It's actually one of the starter areas, but it does have some really nice views. So yeah, I don't know. I just really love this build and the way it came together. We have some elevators to get up, but this is a little bit faster, so let's just do that. Then we have a transmitter right here to, well, travel to your other servers on the cluster. And then you got the living quarters here, using some custom cosmetics. I think this is the modern furniture set, something like that. Got some beds, and of course, showing that we won. We beat the island. It's all displayed right over here. And yeah, we got, of course, hatch frames, so you can easily enter from above, dropping stuff off with the rhino. And some places to relax and enjoy the view. And then, of course, on the other side, let's go like this. It's a little bit faster. We've got this access point to the replicator. Actually, almost forgot. The most important room is right there. You know, you can check out the most important room. You have some privacy. And then up here is the greenhouse. So yeah, we got a little secondary A-frame here with the greenhouse to grow all the crops that we need. And then we have more room up top as well. Currently all the plants have died. But yeah, and again, if you drop off anything you've gathered, you can easily drop them off inside, even the mammoth or whatever. Can easily be dropped off. And you can all have all your stuff on the inside. There we go. Yeah, but yeah, this is definitely still one of my favorite builds. I really like this one. And I kind of wish that I had more time to use it, because basically when I built it, we were pretty much done with the island and then moving on and waiting for the next map. But at least it's seeing some use now, and still very happy with this design. Who knows, maybe I'll build it again at some point to actually start using it in one of my playthroughs. Who knows, but yeah, definitely a fun build to work on for sure. Yeah, it is very nice to keep challenging yourself, trying new build styles, and that's also just the way you learn more and you grow as a builder, right? You just try new stuff and see if it sticks, and if it doesn't, that's all right too. All right, let's go over to Herbivore Island, and well, if it all loads in, there we go. We are here, and yeah, the lovely Herbivore Island. We've got some walkways around, and this is where I tried a little Japanese castle. Well, it's not that little, and some other Japanese inspired builds like this bridge to block off the bay here so that everything inside is kind of safe, so you could use it as a breeding pen for ocean tames. Actually quite nice location in general. But I did try to keep most of the resource locations free. The only exception is that build. That build wasn't here originally. That little house that I built over there was only made to kind of make a tutorial whilst I was on holiday and the center was going to drop. So that was meant for the center, but it's built right here. But it's fine. It's fine. But I do really like this. This was quite tricky to figure out. Because the way the new ARK pieces work, like the corners, lining them up, the idea of having these pieces stick out is quite easy, but yeah, ARK pieces kind of work weird now, especially if you want the different slope. That's also the reason why I use stone, because then they blend it together material wise, because these are of course ramps and these are actual roofs, That's why we also have some overlapping in this design, because otherwise I couldn't do a corner like this, and I needed these points, of course, to stick out to kind of get that very typical look and feel. I do like the design a lot. I don't think these colors that I used here are the best options. Actually, on the center, I rebuilt this again, and I did the paint job differently, and I think that looks a little bit nicer. But the design itself is quite nice, because it's basically an aviary, so you have a lot of spaces, of course, right here, and potentially if you do the windows there differently, you could do more there. But yeah, you have some space to park your flyers, and I just really love the look of these buildings. I don't know what it is, I just really like it. So we got a Tory gate here as well. Then I kind of just made a little harbor, of course, a little place to dock some rafts. And then, as I said, the building up here, this is what I kind of designed as like a, not quite a starter base, maybe just a phase later, with a little dino pen to the side, so you can easily have your dinos safe. And then you have a decently sized house that you can use for all your storage and crafting needs. And yeah, just, you know, nice little interior, plenty of room as well. You even have another layer for more, or a bedroom or whatever. And then with the design like this, the best thing is that you can also use, I think I had some secret entrance here. There we go. You can also use the basement if you really need more space, which is always nice. But yeah, it's a little bit tricky to do without modded pieces. I also overlapped these roofs to kind of make them work, which of course you can't do unofficial, but if you can overlap, I think this is the best way to get this kind of feeling and looking build. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way these turned out. And of course here we got the big Japanese castle, which is definitely one of my favorite later game bases, maybe even end game bases. Let's take off this helmet, because I know people are going to say, oh no, I saw a little line on the screen and that's annoying. Some reasons people really don't like the tech helmet view. But there we go. We got our Japanese castle, including a nice little backyard. Although some trees seem to be removed, because sometimes the big dinos fall down. They start destroying the trees. Really sad, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, this Japanese castle you could definitely use as your main base, because there's plenty of space on the inside. There's also space to have a little graveyard, because some people, you know, might lose tames. Not me, of course not. I would never lose tames. Of course not. But yeah, you have a little garden in the back. It's always nice, right? A little bit of greenery. And then here inside you can see there's so much room inside. You easily can have the biggest structures in here, which is quite nice, of course. I made a little interior garden, because why not? Probably wouldn't have the right effectiveness, but it's just to showcase how much space you have. And then we have the second layer, which are the bedrooms, which have the love ascended beds. These are crazy, by the way. So crazy. Like, they do not really suit ARK at all, but I guess, you know, any option to have different decorations is a good one. And then up here, there would be room to park some flyers as well. So you could easily have your little flyer, your Pterodon or your Argentavis parked up here for easy access whenever you need to access or leave your base. And once again, of course, because it's raised up, you can of course use some of these layers as a little bit of hidden storage, or in this case a hidden generator, because they don't really fit this kind of style and vibe, and it's also always nice to kind of hide them a little bit. But yeah, I really love this place, especially the whole little island with the walkways and then all the different builds. I think those do look quite nice. And I built this very late on the island. I wasn't really playing survival anymore at that rate, because I pretty much had done everything already. But that's also why I rebuilt a little of this on the center, to kind of still have it whilst I was playing. Although at that point I was building so many bases that was hard to keep up with and use them as actual survival places. All right, let's see. We've got this. We've got the tech base. The beach huts we'll skip, because we'll see those on the center, because that was another tutorial I prepared for the center. then I think the next one that is actually mine is going to be the tree houses here. Let's check some of them out. Well, two of them actually. There's exactly two of them. There we go. Should be nice and cozy now. So these are my tree houses right here in the Redwoods near to the lake here. That is nice and cozy in the middle of the well, not really in the middle, but it's like one of the iconic spots here in the Redwoods. And we've got two A-frames here. We got this one, the modern A-frame treehouse, and then the second treehouse is right over there, which is a little bit more like, I don't know what you would call it, maybe a little slightly elven style. The funnest part about this build, I think, is that you could really use it very well as a tribe base, with everyone having their own little room upstairs and then the main crafting area downstairs. Although, of course, with a tree being in the middle, you do run out of space quite easily. Actually building this just on the ground, it gives you quite a bit of space. And the A-frame as well, of course. You can easily use this as a normal base instead of a tree house. But having it as a tree house is quite nice, I think. And now with it being on the cluster, I'm having mods. I also have the hanging bridge, but I mean, it wasn't here originally. But yeah, this is a quite nice base. You got a little bedroom right over here on this side. Got like a little cozy little living room over here. Just, you know, some cozy interior. And then, of course, well, we have the generator room. Poker, very important, of course. You've got to have some poker. And then we have some storage here. Forges. You could also park, I guess, some dinos in here, or your flyers. And a cryo fridge, because I mean, if you're living up in a treehouse, you're most likely using a lot of cryos to get your dinos around, because I mean, how else are you gonna get them up and down all the time? And then this design over here, as I said, is in my head a little bit better for like tribes, where you could have some of crafting in these middle areas or in these areas below. You could easily have some of your crafting like I did as an example over here. And then, yeah, the top parts would be a little bit more suited for your own personal rooms. So, for example, a little bed and some personal storage. And then, of course, you do have hallways connecting them. So you can at least say hi to your tribe maze. And, yeah, you have another little room design here. And, of course, pretty good views for all the way around you and your neighbors. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really used the treehouse base yet myself, but they are quite fun to build and work out. The only downside, of course, is all the space that you lose on the inside. Yeah, that is a little bit tricky. But other than that, I mean, it is always cool to build like a treehouse base. All right, let's see. Where are we going next? We need to keep the pace a little bit high because I built a lot in 1 year. That is for sure. Okay, so we've done the tree houses. So we've done Hagrid's hut. So I think the next one is going to be the underwater tech base. There we go. Right over here. This is where I built the underwater tech base. I really hate what they did with these textures, because originally when I built this and when I did the tutorial, this was all very clear and you could easily look out for one, but also these lines wouldn't be here. And I think that's the most annoying part about these new textures. The lines are not really nice to look at. I do not really like the look of this at all. Also, why is there a ceiling in the middle of my oh wait, is that just a full... That is weird. Okay, so someone made this visible, I guess. Unlock. There we go. All right. Anyway, this is the little base, but yeah, it doesn't look as good anymore with these textures. I don't know why they changed that, but the lines being visible isn't great, of course. But yeah, this is a little underwater base that has pretty much what you need. You know, it's got some storage. It's got a little bedroom where you can respawn, because it's also quite close to one of the caves here on the water on the island. You got your smithy if you want to do some metal smelting or whatever down here, crafting station, and a built-in water pen, which now also kind of looks funny, but yeah, it has a water pen where you could swim in your creatures behind here and park them. Of course, you have to be careful because you don't want to swim them into the main part of the base, because that would just straight up kill them. But yeah, this was a pretty fun base to work on. Oh, there we go. Shouldn't have done that. Yeah, this was a pretty fun base to work on. It did look a lot better before. Now with the lines, I don't know, I don't really like the look of that, but I guess you could just change them to their normal look like that, and it would look a little bit better already, I suppose, because these lines, at least for me, that's not really worth it. That doesn't really look that great at all. But I mean, yeah, I had to try it, right? I had to try a underwater base, a vacuum compartment base at least once. But yeah, quite happy with the result, except for now that the lines have changed, but I guess we can't really do much about that. The only downside is I only have... Did I not place a small teleporter here somewhere? Because otherwise it's going to be hard. Oh, there we go. Because most of these places only have the small. But I guess I could use the big one for that as well. Alright, then this is actually the first modern A-frame that I did. But this wasn't completely my own build. This part especially. This one was inspired. I think there's even a sign on there saying what it... There we go. Yeah, this one was inspired by an A-frame I saw by Kitari. And then I started modifying it. This was very early on. This was one of the first builds I did. But this was one that started going crazy. And this is the reason that later on I designed the tech base. Because people were really liking the A-frames. But yeah, this first design, or at least the basis for that design, was inspired by something I saw on YouTube as well before I started going crazy and built so many A-frames everywhere. This is where the real A-frame obsession began. Hello there, Ellie. Hello. But yeah, there's A-frames everywhere here. But this is a very good base build, by the way. There's waterfalls. Oh, they look amazing. And you've got a super deep water pen here where you can definitely breed any kind of ocean creatures. Got my docks over here that you can easily park your sharks or whatever in. And, you know, just looks a little bit nice. It makes it more convenient to park them in as well. And yeah, plenty of different A-frame designs. I think I did like 2 different tutorials for both of these variations. So you've got a slightly bigger one over here. That's definitely one that I did a tutorial on. And then this one over here I also did a tutorial on. So these were the A-frames that I started out, you know, trying to make different variations for myself. This is actually very early on in ARK where I was experimenting finally with like different build styles. And yeah, the A-frames is definitely one that I embraced for quite a while, because I mean, we've seen a few now already in A-frames, and we'll definitely see a few more. But yeah, these docks as well are quite useful. I actually spent a decent amount of time using this base in survival, because this is where I was breeding my Megs and Mosas to tackle all the underwater stuff. So yeah, I did spend a decent amount of time here. So yeah, we got a whole deep water pen, but I mean, I'm not wearing my tech helmet, so I can't see underwater. And then we got the big gate there, so we can easily leave. But yeah, this is all safe, and this gives you a really good ocean base to use. So yeah, this was really fun, because this is actually where I bred my tames first. Just because it was a little bit easier when I wasn't done with the whole wall. It wasn't safe yet. But yeah, you've got a big base. There's a full tutorial for this big building as well, where you have plenty of room, as you can see, for all your storage and crafting needs. Plenty of space. I think I made a little basement underneath as well. where I could hide my generators. But you can see the survival generator and then now the upgraded one here to power everything and the teleporters. There we go. Yeah, this was a big base. And of course we even have some access here into the water for easy quick access if we needed it. And then this was basically all the storage and crafting. And then this of course was more of the cozy living quarter vibes, where you have some of these areas. Another area, because it was actually too big for the normal generator, so I had to have a second one right here. Yeah, fun facts, it was quite a big base. And a little bedroom over here. And what is this, a beta? No, this is gamma, I don't know, one of them, brood mother, just as decorations. But yeah, this was a really fun base. I did learn a lot about building here when I was working on all this. And yeah, this was very early on. This was the first modern build, going crazy about all these A-frames. But yeah, it was a really fun one. How you started it? Yeah, I mean, it's always tricky. It's always tricky to get the right start, especially if you build like this, where you're basically building on stilts. But I mean, it did turn out nicely in the end. All right, let's make sure it's not raining during our beautiful tour of the place. And then let's go and check out the next one. But yeah, this is a really fun base. And also a really fun base location. Sometimes I'm very tempted to redo some bases or improve them. But I kind of like the nostalgia. And I think if I were to improve them, I would probably improve them somewhere else instead of on here. All right, let's see. It looks like we're going to the mountain ruins. Another ruin rebuild. Yeah, I mean, that's the good thing about big A-frame builds. You can quite easily customize them to your own needs. There we go. The second ruin base on the menu today. We got a lot of artifacts down here. And this was actually the base where my friends were playing at the time. And then I started rebuilding their base. Now, there's a lot of buildings here. A lot of them. But the main one that was actually being used is just this one right over here, which was also the first one that I rebuilt, because it was kind of like our main base here on the island. And I do really like the look of this, the way that we managed to integrate these pieces with the ruin, paint them as well, so they kind of blend in a little bit more, especially this part, like that's sticking out and basically hanging on the ruin. That just looks quite nice, you know, really blends it all in together for me. And there we go. Yeah, and this was our main base. So this is where we survived, where we had all the stuff. Well, some of the stuff is missing since, because we moved it out over to other maps afterwards. But yeah, this was the main crafting and storage room. Then I think all we had on the next room was pretty much the grinder to get things going. We had custom paintings, but they were removed at some point because we had some issues with some weird lag spikes at some point. We couldn't really find the cause. Yeah, the bedrooms to respawn in. The little inner courtyard here as well with some plants, and there used to be some tames here. These towers weren't really used for any practical uses, but I mean, you can go fully into them, of course. And then a little platform to park flyers at. And then we can also go back into the main building, because we did have a little like living room or kitchen up here where the food was prepared, where we had a bigger place to park some flyers and, you know, connect to the rest of the world. And again, another connection to the tower as well. And then actually this is where the path continues into a little greenhouse that I used the custom cosmetics on, the Klinger ones, as soon as they came out, just to kind of improve them, because greenhouse structures don't really look that good in my opinion. So any chance to change them is a good one. And then this one was actually quite useful, because we wanted the forge somewhere where it was easily reachable, with tames, with gathering tames. And yeah, this basically allowed us for dropping off the Yankees right next to it, just load it in and then move the metal over to wherever we needed it. So yeah, it's basically all it is a platform. There's actually no way to normally get up to that ruin, so I had to build a little stairs in, and quite like the way these pillars lined up with the foundations down there. Yeah, that was a really fun project. This was a really fun base. I really like the base rebuilding of the ruins. This one is quite nice. There wasn't really anything in this build, so this is just the shell. All we really built in here was like a little penguin farm, so we could farm some polar bear. But I mean, yeah, I do really like the look of the build, especially with everything together. It's like a little town on the side of the mountain. We had a little farm here for some ovis. Everything has since been moved out, so it's a little bit empty now. But yeah, there was a little farm here for ovis. They led a very nice, long life. Were definitely never butchered, because who would do such a thing to those poor little sheep? And yeah, and then we have one of the last ruins that's up here, or the last ruin, because the castle isn't a ruin. This was what I used as my house later on. There's a little dino pen, or flyer parking actually, down here, of course, where I could fly in, park some of my RGs, or breed them, or whatever. And then, yeah, we had a nice little living room down here, or up here, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Plenty of little balconies, of course, to enjoy the views. This was the first time we used tech, so we made a little tech platform to do our advanced crafting at, and then another one of those towers to kind of blend it back together with the rest of the builds, and you know, kind of see them all. The skins for the greenhouse, it's the Klinger's rustic structures. Well, it used to be the eye icon, now it's just cosmetics, but I've also heard that some cosmetics aren't working. But yeah, it should just be this, and then I don't know if they're all in here. I know some of these are now broken with the latest update, so it might be a little bit before they work again. All right, and there we go. Then what we needed for this place was a big dino pen where we could easily breed as many dinos as possible. So I built a castle wall here on the top of the mountain. It's not the best terrain, of course, because it's quite steep and hilly. But yeah, I managed to build a wall around it, so it was at least safe and no random spawning giga would be here and eat up our tames. They would also only spawn on the other side of the mountain. Oh my god, the fog is coming in again. This brings back flashbacks of the island and going blind here every time, not being able to see anything. But yeah, this is where we bred up, well, mostly my tribe mate, she bred up a lot of tames up here. And we also launched the final boss fights from here, because it's just nice and convenient, not having to go anywhere to do that. So yeah, I was originally planning on building something else at the top, but I mean, the base kind of got so big that that idea was scrapped later on to save my tribe mates, you know, save them from my building. But it was a pretty fun project to work on. This was a really, really cool one. I mean, as I said, ruin rebuilds, I really like them. All right, let's see. We got the mountain ruins. We've been at the Viking, the Cozy. So I guess we're going to Castle Black. That's everything load in. Let's also see if we can get rid of some of this fog, or if it's just... No, it's not weather related. So it's just gonna be... Maybe I should just clear the fog so we can see properly. Yeah, Castle Black was a really fun project. This was one that I completely did on stream. So we started it together on stream, and I finished it all together on stream. So this is loosely based on Castle Black. It's also a little bit of a Viking-ish style or influence on some of these structures. I actually don't like the wall design for this that much. I think the other one that we had on the mountain basically was a lot nicer to look at. Yeah, there's now turrets everywhere to keep it all safe. But yeah, I do like the gates here. The tower design is one that I used and changed a lot. Because, I mean, I just like the design and it saved some time on a project like this. The longhouse here, or, I mean, some kind of longhouse, was quite nice. And, of course, that had to be decorated as the actual Night Watch hall. So let's see, right in here we've got the hall. So it's not very practical. This is definitely not what you would do normally, but just to showcase how big it is and to get closer to that feeling. And then on here we have all the little rooms. I mean, if you would decorate this differently, you could definitely make a very decent ARK base, because look how much space even this floor still has. This floor would be big enough to have the industrial forge on it. So yeah, definitely could make for a fun base if you just want to build this one. I think I did a tutorial on that this building as well, just the longhouse. Yeah, then we got some practice grounds here, of course. We got some gallows, the iconic wooden elevator up to the wall, and then this little blacksmith in the corner. Actually, I also really like this little build. Got a little working area out here, some storage in here with crafting, and then access to a little interior with some bedrooms as well. But okay, I don't know what it is. I just really like the cozy feel of builds like this. The wood and the stone feels very, very ARK, right? Having these structures go together. Yeah, then we have the wooden elevator, which was actually the biggest question, if we were going to be able to pull this off, you know, because the normal elevator looks very metal and isn't very nice, of course. But building this little shell around it, I think we turned it into something quite nice. Oh, I need to eat. There we go. It's not very fast, of course, but at least no one needs to crank anything. I guess now with newer updates, we do have a wooden elevator. Although that would take even longer, I think, to get up here. So we'll just leave it at this. But yeah, it did reach us all the way to the top of the wall. And then there's also, of course, a staircase if you can't be bothered waiting for the elevator and just want to run down here. But yeah, this was definitely a very, very fun project to work on, and actually reminds me that we haven't really done well, we have done some projects on stream, but usually I do a lot of like the second half or the detailing or the interiors. I do that off stream, so maybe having a fully streamed project could be fun again sometime, although I guess they kind of mixed in with all the other content that I'm doing now. Hello, Lincoln. Welcome in. Thank you, Growlmide. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. I will keep going. I've really fallen completely in love with the build system in this game, and I don't think I could stop even if I tried now. I think it's ingrained in me after doing so many builds. All right, let's check it. But I think those are all of my island builds. Yeah, we've been to these. Beach house we're skipping. Yeah, I think that's all the builds that we've made. There is a stock mention on here, but technically that was a build from the center. We'll see that later on as well, but we can quickly visit it because I also built it here, because this is now where we host boss fights for our server. Why is that little guy not skinned? What happened there? Who did that to my lovely base? But yeah, this is now where we host the tech cave here on our island cluster, or an island server on the cluster, on the community server. So yeah, once in a while we have fights, and then everyone can easily park up here because this thing is giant. But yeah, now this is broken. Let's see. There we go. Fixed it. It's all better now. But yeah, this is the Stark mansion. I designed this on the center, so we'll see that in a little bit later as well. But yeah, we needed something here on the island to host the fights from. And this seems like a very fitting base to have on this cliffside. So yeah, now people get to visit it. They get to use it, which is always quite nice, of course. So actually, all of these bases, all of the things that I built on the island, you can visit for yourself if you join my community server. It's free to join. You can find all the information on my Discord. But yeah, I think with that, we have visited everything that I've got here on this world. And we'll move on to Scorched Earth. It's been a while since I've been on my Scorched Earth world. But we definitely also have some fun projects over there. So let's get the power main back. And, you know, I'll always want to go to bed. And then we can quickly switch servers. And go look at some desert builds. Scorched Earth will be cowboys. Will be... what else did we did? Yeah, some desert, some pyramids. So let me quickly switch over to my private server. And we'll continue our story. So now we're a couple months in, because I think it was like 5 months before we got to get a new map and we got Scorched Earth. So this was pretty much 5 months of builds, which is quite crazy to think about. That's almost half of them. So yeah, definitely the highest density of builds is probably on the island, I think. All right, well, if this all loads in, we will switch back to the game and we'll take a look at all these lovely bases on Scorched Earth, and hopefully we won't be burned alive. All right, there we go. We are on Scorched Earth at my little starter base. Let me quickly check the time before... Yeah, there we go. It's gonna do the music for the... Yep. Well, the wyvern is gone. But yeah, this was my little starter base on Scorched Earth. Oh, brings back so many memories. This was April. Yeah, this was April. But this has been such a long time by now. And especially this place, because this place we basically... went here for the first week maybe before we moved on, but yeah, we got a little ranch here, little starter building here, which is quite nice. Some of our tames have still survived and are still out here. The plants are still protecting the place, which is good, but it also kind of shows how little we've loaded in this area since. And you can also see my crazy attempt at connecting my bases with the trains, which is also why we got a little train station out here. You know, we got a little starter base station with the... This is my survival train, actually. So we got a little forge at the back, little dino pen here, and then we got... I don't know what this was going to be. As you can see, clearly didn't finish this train. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun addition, wasn't it? It wasn't very practical, maybe a little bit slowish, but it was pretty fun and very expensive to make, of course, if you wanted to do it all in survival. But yeah, I do like this little train station design that we did. You know, even though didn't really use it that much. Maybe, you know, I'm kind of tempted to do a new western town at some point on Ragnarok, especially since we're getting a bison there. It feels very much like I kind of have to give it another go. But yeah, this was a little starter base. I don't have teleporters here everywhere, so I'm gonna have to fly to some of these bases because I don't think there's any teleporters left. Maybe one base still has a teleporter, So after this, I started a little project over here in the desert. What do I think about the Dreadmares? I kind of like them. I think they're a fun tame. They're quite fast both on land and in the sky, so that's good. Ability-wise, I'm not sure. I haven't played around with them too much. All right, there we go. We have the little desert town, which is another ruin rebuild project. Because, I mean, that was kind of my thing early on. The only downside on Scorched Earth, I think, was that a lot of these buildings, like over here, already kind of had roofs, which made it a lot more tricky to rebuild them. As you will see, that some of these are a little bit more basic in the rebuilding because it was a little bit harder to do your creativity and freedom to shape up a build if there's already, you know, a roof above your head. But I do think this town turned out quite nice. Of course, this has like a proper street here and buildings on both sides. So I think we did a lot of this building all on stream actually early on Scorched as well, which was quite fun. Some different styles to these buildings. And it does make for like a really nice street. I love the look of this place because it does look like a proper little street. But this wasn't actually a base that we used. This was just basically me spending time rebuilding this. We did use part of this. I think it was over here. Yeah, this was like the first little storage room we used because there was no weather effects in here. I don't know if this is supposed to be a room because you can kind of see like the assets not really finished down here, but it's fine. It made for a little nice starter room. And then this house was the first one I built here, which we used for like a day maybe, before quickly moving into this structure. I didn't do anything on top. I tried, but the foundations didn't really line up too well with this, so I couldn't really be bothered by making it all work. We do have a full foundation on the inside though, and there used to be a lot of tames here everywhere because this was actually our main base. And the most useful part for anyone, this is the list of Jerboa sounds. I mean, this will save your life. This can't be more clear. And I kind of miss Jerboas as a creature, but I definitely did not miss the sounds they make here on Scorched. But yeah, this was our main base. So we've got the staircase all the way down. And this is where we actually survived. It's not quite empty because a lot of the structures have moved on with us to the next map. But yeah, this was the main base. I guess this Thyla and this Dodo are what is left. This was the little bedroom, but it's very dark for some reason there. And yeah, and the transmitter to get out of here. Oh, there's some more Thylas. But yeah, we use this place as our main base since we have a private server, so we can just build inside of these, even though this is an artifact cave. So normally this would be like highly inappropriate and very annoying to anyone else. But for us, it was fine. And then actually, because someone was breeding so much wyverns, we needed more space. So actually expanded down here into the cave, like actually fully in the cave. So we turned this entire part of the cave into our base as well, blocking some spawns. And now you need to go in quite deep before you will see anything spawn in this cave, but it's all fine. It gave us plenty of room for breeding projects, and we never had to worry about the weather at all because of course down here there's no effects from the weather. I think this is where I had some of my Jerboas breeding. But yeah, they're quite annoying here on Scorched, especially early on Scorched, because then the weather loop was of course still broken, so the weather effects were just constantly going off for like the first 2-3 months, it feels like, basically until we got the center. I feel like the weather was broken. But yeah, this was a really fun base actually, just being in the cave. All right, no worries, Lincoln. But yeah, this was a good base. This was very practical, a very nice, not having to worry about anything weather-wise and Scorched. And then yeah, this was kind of all decoration out here. And I was going to work on a train station and possibly even rebuild even more, but I never really got to that. I did of course build on my Oasis Saw, which they finally finished so that you can load them in without almost crashing or freezing. But there we go. Mr. Krabs is still out here. Are you still alive, dude? Oh, he is starving. I'm sorry, dude. I do not have a shovel. I do not have a shovel. Oh, no. Oh, no. Hello there. Irasia, thank you for the Twitch Prime. 6 months. You're a golden shark. What is it? Yeah, a golden shark, I think. Yeah, okay. I might have to feed Mr. Crab. He looks so sad already. Why do they look so sad? Oh yeah, he's actually starving. He's so hurt. Oh god. Let's get out of here before he starves. Because I think he's fine as long as I don't load him in. Alright, so I think the next project has to be one of the ones that I spent the most time on here on Scorched Earth, and that is of course the Western Town. Because this was such a fun project. I also might have to do leave me alone, because otherwise they will start attacking me everywhere. So yeah, the long train line leads back into town, which is right over here. There's also my main train. Did they finally fix the fact that when you load in a train, it's still connected properly? How lovely. Well, maybe that is a sign that I should build another Western town. Hello there. Welcome in, Sarge. Welcome in. All right, let's start here at the at the beginning of the street, of Main Street, here in Tholdes, Arkansas. You know, a little Western town. I'm quite happy with the Western Deco mod, but it came in a little bit later, so I haven't used it as much as I would like. That's also one of the reasons why I would really like to do another Western town at some point, to kind of fully utilize that deco mod. I did change a lot of these signs in here to the signs that were used on my community server made by Wild. It's kind of, you know, and honoring some of the community members that have made some. And of course, they are just amazing signs. So, you know, they are a lot nicer than having just the names there. So that's all using the Scribbles mod. You can make these custom ones. So we got Grapes Diner over here. Got the Undertaker here, which is called Larry's and Sons, because Larry was one of the Argentavises and he disappeared. So it seems fitting to name the Undertaker after him. Then we got some normal houses over here. We got the hotel, gun store, general store, a bank. We got the circus and the saloon. Look at this. These signs are really great. Yeah, this was a really fun project, to be honest. I really enjoyed working on this one. Like, there's so much work. I think most of my time on Scorched Earth was probably put into this town, because there's a few, well, there's quite a few buildings down here. So you got Main Street, then you end up here at the sheriff's office, of course, and then we got the gallows that I made before. Then, of course, the deco mod came out and made the own gallows. But I think I did a pretty good job for using normal pieces. Like, I think I did very well. You get the gist. And then yeah, we got little stables over here as well. You know, oh, there's actually still horses in here. They might also be starving, but they are still alive. I did not kill them. We got the post office, and then of course the station will end there. We'll take a look at the other stuff that is around here first. We got a little ranch out here. So this is basically the upgraded version, or a later version of my starter house. Nice little ranch here on the edge of town, with a nice big porch at the back and a porch here on the front as well. You can see there was already more, the deco mod was already out because it's more integrated with the building. Some nice decorations around to enjoy. It is a really a nice mod to bring some extra life to your builds. And then this one, the big barn, that's definitely one of my favorites here from the Western Town, because I think this is just so iconic. This came out really close to what I envisioned when I started this project, and it kind of only happened when I finally took the time and painted this all, because now it's painted. Yeah, this is a great barn in my opinion. This is lovely, and this would be great to use as a place to do your breeding, because, well, it has a behemoth gate, as you can see, so it is quite massive on the inside as well. I made some little stables to the side, but if you leave this open, you would have all the space in the world to do all your breeding for whatever dino you're working on. And then there's actually some walkways around the top as well if you want to park down some of your flyers quite safely. But yeah, there is a lot of space in this barn. a lot of space. So if we get to Ragnarok and we get the bison, I might have to build myself a bison barn. You know, I don't know why. I did not know a bison was even an option, but then I saw him, and I don't know why I'm so excited for the bison. But yeah, this barn, it was a little bit later. It's one of the later builds in the town, but I really like the way it turned out. Another one of the later builds in the town was the church, although it was kind of on the list from the start, but I didn't really get to it just until the end. Yeah, I mean, that is fair. I think I build big, but I don't use them for big tames. But I mean, you should do quite well. I've parked some wyverns in there, and that still made the place feel small, so I guess that's good. Then we got the church, and this is another lesson that as soon as you start painting structures, it can really transform the look of a place, because this one did not look at all as good as it does now without adding the paint. And this was also much more close to the way I envisioned it when I started working on it. I don't know what, I had a specific church in mind pictured whilst I was working on this. I can't remember where it was from. It was from some kind of TV show, I think. But yeah, just a very nice iconic little church, of course. And again, the western deco around. This one is one of my favorites, with a little dodo hiding in there. And then we got a graveyard out here, utilizing some of the normal graves as well as the western deco ones. We got Rip Momo, Momo the second, Momo the third, Momo the fourth, and Larry. Again, no, not the fifth. I think I stopped using Momos after that, to be fair. I think I gave up on Jerboas at some point because they kept making the noises. But yeah, we got a little church with the western deco used, which makes it a lot easier, of course, to bring these places to life. And then it's time for the train station, which is definitely one of the highlights of the town for sure. Was of course a big thing when Scorched launched, and this one is definitely a very nice build. I really like this with the multiple train layouts. We got the different platforms. I had big plans for this. I didn't really use the trains as much as I would have liked to, or they would have deserved if you see all this place. But yeah, this one is quite cool. So we got like the central station building right here. With some waiting areas. Then we got the middle platform using a lot of the pots, of course, which, I mean, yeah, I didn't go to mods instantly here. I just used the pots, which is still a good way, even if you're on official settings or single player and you don't have mods, just to add in some greenery to your builds, because it does help a lot. And then we got like the bigger warehouse back here with a lot of storage as well. So yeah, the buildings in general are quite simple here. So it's mostly an overhang where, you know, you can wait for the train. Then a little bit of a room inside here. I don't think I did anything too crazy with the decorations here. And then this one, warehouse. This is definitely some workshop you could just use as your base, even if you don't build a train, because this is where you could have a lot of your storage. Obviously, this is decorated in a visual way and not in a practical way, because imagine storing your stuff here. This would probably, I could use this place. I'm people that organize's worst nightmare in this game. Although modded systems make that a lot easier. But yeah, we got all this storage, and then you could have your main crafting in here or up there. And then on the other side, we also have another little place where you could do more of your crafting as well. And then of course we have my main train, the design. Oh god, the train that we designed just to look good and rather than necessarily functional for ARK. So we got a little coal cart, although we do have furnaces in here, so you could still smelt stuff. And then we got a storage cart right here, so with all the storage you could need. And then we got the poker table. I've had a lot of messages about some of these things not being able to place them down anymore. I don't know why. This was all possible when I built them. I don't know if that has changed since, but when I did it, this was all still possible. So yeah, we got our little main living quarters, I suppose. And then we got the door did not open. We got a little dino pen back here. You know, if you want to transport some dinos. But mostly, it's just a very nice decoration piece to my train station here in the town. But yeah, this town was a very fun project to work on. Maybe not the most practical ARK base, but sometimes that doesn't have to be the case, right? Sometimes you can build things because they're nice. And I think after, you know, with hindsight, I would have loved if I had built this on the community server, and then different people could use these shops as their actual shops and stuff like that. I think that would have been really fun. But I mean, in the meantime, I'll just be here and enjoy it by myself, I suppose. It is it's good to be back here. This was a really fun project to work on. But yeah, this was a fun project. It was one of my main projects, actually, because I didn't actually play Scorched for that long, all things considered, because I think we played the island for 5 months, and then Scorched came out, and I think I had like 2 months, maybe not even, before I went on holiday, and then when I got back, I think the center was already launched. So, yeah. But there is still a few builds to visit, and one of them is near the Wyvern Trench. It is my pyramid, which should be over there. There we go. Probably not the best place to make it, although, I mean, I haven't really seen that many death worms to begin with, and it's still standing. But yeah, this was a very fun project, and I still think, especially the outside, a quite nice looking base to go the pyramid way. Some decent entrances to get into the base, and especially with all the greenery, just brings a lot of life to a base like this, especially with the sand of the desert and the adobe structures already looking quite similar. This just really helps to set them apart a little bit more. The insides I would definitely do differently if you want to survive in them. At least these staircases, because they leave very little room. Although, that being said, you still have some decent room in the corners. But probably you would want to just make 2 layers. Just have a layer where you enter on this level, because you still have a pretty high base then. And then you could just have a basement and make like 1 staircase down to save on space and actually have a decent amount of room. The most annoying thing about having to build this is the double laying layers of roofs, because these adobe pieces, of course, have the kind of roof panes on the other side, which you don't want to see. So you have to have a layer on the inside and the outside, like a quarter ceiling apart, to kind of have a nice looking inside as well. So not the most resource efficient base, but if you really want to live in a pyramid, which is very suited for Scorched Earth, of course, that is the way to go. Yeah, I do really still like the look of this. I think this one was featured in the community crunch as well. I don't know what I thought building it next to the Wyvern Trench. I think I just kind of found a somewhat flat-ish spot, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. I don't see anything that could go wrong here. But I mean, to be fair, if you don't trigger them, they wouldn't really attack your base anyway. That's also why I didn't place or didn't activate my species plants, because I didn't want to lure the creatures to my base. And I haven't used this as a survival base, so it was totally fine. Then I believe there's only one place left. I think we got the ruins, we got the starter base, we've got the pyramid, we've got the western town. I think all that I did, we got the oasis-or. Yeah, all I think I did was, oh damn, there is a dodo wyvern here. Hello? Well, that's a dodo wyvern. And then we're going to one of my biggest bases ever built. Probably too big. This one is too big. This one hit the limit even for me. So I can't decorate everything. But it's totally fine. Why is it so dark here? Is there like a weather effect going on? There we go. So this was the giant pyramid tech base that I built here on Scorched Earth. And even though that I advised everyone that watched the videos and was hyped for this place not to build them themselves, I received plenty of people sending screenshots that they did build them themselves. But yeah, this one is big. This one is very, very, very big indeed. And this one has a lot of room. So much room everywhere. So the coolest part about this design, I think, is the custom entrances on all sides. So we got the behemoth gate here, so you can have all the bigger things enter. And then we got the two lines here with the train station, because I was very dedicated of making my bases accessible by train for some reason. Then we got the A-frame side with the 3 A-frames and the normal dino gate entrances. And then this side with the big stripe in the middle and the balconies on the sides. And then yeah, the big part about this base is that this is pretty much all dino parking. So this is where you could easily bring up all the dinos, breed them, park them. You could dedicate these rooms to certain things. I think I had some breeding going on. Yeah, there we go. Got some breeding going on there, or hatching eggs, I mean. Breeding here in the middle. And then, did I do anything else here? No. But yeah, lots of space already just on this layer. Because I think this is like a 40 by 40 layer. I'm pretty sure. Then we got the giant staircase into the giant tech pyramid. And oh yeah, there's some visitors that logged out here. I forgot that I did a tour for some of the community, and they all they're all still here. Hey, there's Ellie, I think, and is this, I don't know, who is this? They're all very summery, as you can see. But yeah, this is the giant pyramid from the inside. I think in the middle right here is where you can't place anything because the structure limit is hid. But it was the first base where I was able to fit the cloning chamber on the inside. I think that was the goal for this base. Build something big enough where it could fit inside. And I mean, I did succeed, but at what cost, I suppose. Yeah, there's so much space in here. There's way too much space. Way more than you would need. This is definitely a base where you can easily breed big dinos on the inside, because it's massive. It's massive. Yeah, there's many more layers to access, balcony layers to walk around on. Then you got the staircase up to the living quarters, so we have a bunch of space here as well, and then some more space down here with some beds and everything, poker tables everywhere, you know. Yeah, and then more places to walk around or park your flyers, whatever you want or need. But yeah, there's a lot of space. This was one of the bigger bases. I do really like the design, don't get me wrong. I do like the design, but I don't think it's very practical to build it, especially if already on an unofficial server you hit the limit. There's no way to do this on official, I'm pretty sure. Maybe if you downscale it a little bit, because I doubt you would actually need it this big. But it is a really cool design. I'm really happy with that. Yeah, kind of started the tradition of having at least one tech base on every map that I went to. But yeah, I think that are the bases on Scorched, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I've got a list anymore because at some point my waypoints were reset, but I think that's because we spent most time on the western town. And then, yeah, we had the starter base, we had the desert ruins, we had the pyramid, and the other pyramid. I think that is all. So that means it's time to go and transfer over to the next base. So let me quickly transfer over to the center. And we'll go over there and visit the next few bases. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure there's no other Scorched things. The only other things would be the community center on our servers, I think. Because I basically played this for like little over a month, close to 2 before I went on my holiday, and then we got the center. Time for the center. I probably should do a quick reconnect as well, because then the after transfer water graphical bugs are gone. Because otherwise that will look a little bit annoying. Alright, let me do that before we switch screens. And then we'll get to show off all the things we build on the center. I feel like we definitely build a lot on the center. I guess because I spent so much time working on one base on Scorched, like the town. There's a lot less builds there. As well as I think we just spent a longer amount of time on the center as well before we got a new map. At least for me, because my holiday wasn't interfering this time. Alright, let's see. We're back in ARK. There we go, the center. And we're going to start off right here on the Blue Obelisk Island with the beach hut base. So these two small ones here on the right, those are the ones that I did a tutorial for as well. So that's why we started with here on the center, because nice and easy. Feels very appropriate as well for a starter base, right? You know, this feels kind of what a starter base should be like. And of course, I know that I made this tutorial for this thing before I left on my holiday, and we didn't have the corners of thatch for roofs yet. But of course, I recorded that in advance, and then I saw the center release and they added those pieces, and I was like, well, that's just made me look like an idiot, because I didn't use those, of course, because I didn't have them. But now we do, and they definitely do look a lot better with them. And then we also made a variation here with Architect Structures Remastered, because of course you got some different options, even more options to make it even cooler. And of course, it's gonna start raining now. So let's make sure it doesn't, because it's a lot nicer to look at bases without the rain. And then at some point, I added a giant one in the back so that we could have all our dinos easily in here. A little glass floor as well, so we could enjoy the Thames swimming down here. And then a place for the pterodons up there as well, just to kind of make it all complete. But I mean, we didn't use the base for too long, but it was a pretty fun base to get started with, at least. Here there should be teleported to most places. I don't know if they're all activated. No, there's no power here anymore, which is too bad. Oh yeah, we have some visitors down here. All right, let's get over to the second base. I don't know if it's good to do in these orders, but at least this one will have the teleporter activated. So that's the most important thing. And this is what we called Pyro's Jaw, because it was on the Pyro main island, basically, because that was, of course, something that was introduced here. And yeah, I built a little A-frame, of course. I've built many A-frames in my time, but this one, I finally used ASR for them. And with ASR, of course, you have the steeper pieces, which I really miss in normal ARK, because this is much closer to what an actual A-frame would look like than the very wide ones that you have to bake in normal ARK. So yeah, this is much closer to what an actual A-frame would look like. And I really do like this base. It's basically like a more compact, smaller version of my ultimate tech base that we saw on the island. And of course a little bit more wood instead of just tech. But yeah, this does look quite nice. And this was a very fun base. It's actually still being used quite a bit just because it is here on Pyro Island. And my tribe mates, he's been obsessed with the Pyro mains from the start. And pretty much dedicated all the time to them. But yeah, you got a decent amount of space because of the steeper roofs, and plenty of space up here as well, as you can see. Apparently it's been inhabited by Gigantoraptors now, which shows you breeding obsession, I suppose. But yeah, actually surprisingly good location, even though we moved here quite early on, like within the first week, just to get pyromanes and stuff. But it's quite safe on this little edge, because nothing really too dangerous spawns in here, and they don't get to the end of this anyway, so you're quite safe there, and of course close enough to get all the pyromanes you would ever want or need. Yeah, all from one little outpost. All right, let's check if we can now... Well, this place should definitely have power, so we should be able to transport ourselves around again. Okay, I guess the next base would be maybe this. Oh, I see the other teleporters are gone. Some of the teleporters have been dying on me because I didn't power them anymore. But I guess we can go here. Even though this is a very late build, this is also close to one of the first builds. So, well, this is where... Wait, all the pyromanes are gone. It's never been this empty here. All the pyromanes are gone. All right, before we look at that build, we're gonna go to where we went next, which was the ruin rebuild project that I did here on the center. The downside of the center ruins is that they're all kind of like in cliffs and mountains. Whereas on the island, you have a lot of freedom. On Scorched Earth, a little bit less. Here, all you really need to do is place a gate. Well, not this gate, but this gate is also pretty nice. It's where my Japanese style comes back. Basically, you build a gate and you build foundations, and then you really just already have a whole base, which is also one of the things that I did quite early on the center. I think I've got videos for most, if not all of these little ruin bases, because, well, yeah, all you really need is start placing down some foundations. I did also close off some of these areas to kind of create a whole pen in here, and this is also where we did the boss fight for the center right here. There's another ruin back here that we really didn't use because we didn't need the space. Then there's our wall. I was gonna make like some kind of design on that, but I never really got to it. But at least it made sure that this whole area was safe for us to use. And then, as you can see, some of my Japanese build that we saw on the island came back here as well. I do really prefer this paint with the white because it makes it a lot lighter. And then with some of these red details, it just stands out very, very, very nicely. And yeah, especially the castle, like it's a massive difference to the one on the island, even though it's pretty much the same. The only other change that I did is that I used some windows from ASR just to save myself some time. And for some reason, it seems like the paint has disappeared on those windows. Not sure why that would happen. But yeah, I mean, there's some few builds up here. Oh, also the pagoda, as I said, I built that up top here. Quite easy to spot the base like that. But yeah, these ruins weren't really that much trouble. Pretty much all about lining them up. This one was the first pyromane breeding location before they moved into the next one. But yeah, I kind of liked how these ruins, the arches and everything kind of integrated with some of these Japanese inspired builds around. So I've got some of these little torii gates using ASR and half pillars to make them nice and small instead of all the big variations. And then we got another ruin over here, which is again just a showcase of how quick and easy you can build a base here if you just line up foundations right. I think this one is a little bit more tricky because you need to overlap them to get the right turns, because it makes like a smooth curve. But yeah, you can quite easily build a base inside, and as soon as you've got the foundations, of course, you have so much space in here to work with and to build your own base at. So yeah, that is quite convenient for this. And there's also a giant flat space on the top of it, which is where I built this circular breeding base for my tribe mate when she asked it. After a very good sketch, this is what we came up with. This was also right after I've watched all the Jurassic Park and World movies for the first time. So I kind of inspired it by the Biosyn building. But yeah, I do think this came out pretty nice, and it's seen some heavy usage for pyromane breeding. I think most of them have just moved out, but there's definitely still signs of them everywhere. Yeah, there's been some crazy pyromanes have been made here, and yeah, all using this base. I like this little open bit here on the inside as well. Just the circular shape, of course, is always a nice touch in my opinion. But yeah, that's quite nice. I think I'm just gonna quickly borrow one pyromane, because then it can power some of the other bases when we visit. But yeah, and this is of course where I started using JVH as a little bit of landscaping help. Of course, you can do something very similar plant-wise in vanilla with the plant pots, but it just takes a lot more time. So just, you know, to save some time, this is a nice addition. All right, let's visit some other bases. Maybe we should just go from the top to the bottom. Did I build anything else here that is empowered? I do not think so. So let's go to the raptor paddock from Jurassic World. So right here, I built this little paddock, this little dino pen from the movies. Also came out quite well. Quite accurate, a little bit hidden in the jungle. But yeah, definitely a nice little addition if you're looking for a dino pen. Some decent space, and everything that fits through a dino gate can easily go in and out. Bigger thames would probably fit inside, but you would have to cryo and uncryo them every time. A little viewing platform, of course, to watch your tames. Walkways all the way around, and a little iconic cage from the movie with some of those windows for your tame. So pretty much what this is where you would breed them. You can line them up quite nicely, hatch the eggs as well with the air conditioning if you need it. And then yeah, there's plenty of space for them to roam around in here and enjoy their life within this little dino pen. I do still have plans on making an entire Jurassic Park / world. I'm waiting for the right map with the right amount of space. I was waiting for Ragnarok, but depending on what the next region of Astraeus offers, I might build it there instead. I don't know yet. It's just because Ragnarok is coming in March, so it's still a long time away. All right, but yeah, that's this little dino pen. Let's move on. Well, we can very quickly go to the castle, because this is one of the few builds that I started and couldn't be bothered by finishing it. So the plan was making something inspired by the Red Keep, but I don't know what. I wasn't motivated for the longest time. I think I was building too many castles at the time, to be honest. I was working on one on Svartalfheim. I've already done one on the island, so I wasn't really feeling making this. I think there's the good basis of a nice castle here, but I just never really finished it. I did finish this little wizard's tower that serves as like an aviary, so you can easily park your flyers up here. And yeah, I kind of like the little walkway going underneath this part as well, which is using a few custom cosmetics, but can all be built in normal ARK. And of course, using JVH again to add some plants and some extra details around it. I do like that tower. The castle could have been great, but alas, it was never finished and it will never be finished. But who knows? I mean, there's very likely to be another castle in my future at some point. But the Svartalfheim castle, which we'll see later, kind of took all the castle building out of me for a little bit at least. Yeah, we got a nice little aviary tower that I also made a tutorial for, I believe. All right, so let's go over here to the Stark Mansion. So, oh, that was a little bit faster than I imagined. But yeah, there we go, the Stark Mansion. So I built this also on the island as a place to launch boss fights, but this is the original that I designed over here. I really like the circular vibe of this building. The only downside is with the way that ARK structures work and line up, you kind of have to do overlapping to make this work, because yeah, otherwise you can't really carve out these pieces from the circles, just because they don't really line up in the right way. But yeah, I do really like the look of these circles, different layers, different sizes. We got a little nice pool here. There is, yeah, water in with custom cosmetics, so you have a nice little pool, some of the summer decorations as well, to make it look all nice. And yeah, this is just, you know, another little modern tech base with some nice big windows to enjoy your views around. I think I decorated later as well with the quantum custom cosmetic and also the modern custom cosmetic for structures with this white plastron and these floors, just to go for a completely different look. And you don't have to paint it. Saves a little bit of time as well. Yeah, plenty of room for sure on the inside. And with this marble as well, nice reflections, making it look very, very fancy indeed. So yeah, this I do really like this design, especially just because of the amount of natural light that enters the build. It's just really something that I quite enjoy having around the base. Plenty of light, because yeah, it's the nicest kind of light. Natural light is always better if you can make it work. And then the good thing about this base is as well that the roofs are just free parking of dinos, because there's so much space up here. As you can see, there's still a wyvern parked up there as well. Easy. You can fit so many dinos on here if necessary. Then the next build, I think, has lost power, so we kind of need to dive down ourselves. But there should be right over here a little Greek temple, which is quite funny to look back at now that we've got Estrellas, we've got the Greek structure skins. But we already did a Greek build right over here using these water reservoirs stacked up each other. I still think it's a fun build. Of course, doing ramp roofs is a little bit difficult in normal ARK. I think I used some ASR pieces to make it look a little bit nicer. With custom cosmetics, you can also get some nice looking roofs. The biggest problem would be these little shallow bits that you need to fill in. But yeah, this is quite a nice one, showcasing all the artifacts here on the center. And then pretty simple design on the inside, I think. Just some storage, some crafting, and then a little bit more storage up here as well. But yeah, the light down here in one of these bubbles is a little bit crazy. It's a little bit crazy. But I mean, what was still a really fun build. Kind of try out something a little bit different than all the other things. But yeah, it ran out of power, so I can't teleport back in here now. But yeah, it is a fun build. I don't know how practical it is to have a base down in the bubble like this. Oh, the light is gone weird. But I mean, yeah, it felt suited you know, little Atlantis build, I suppose, right down there. Then I think another one that wasn't showing up is right over on the land bridge, which is right over here. It's my log cabin, and this one definitely a bigger log cabin right over there. There we go. So yeah, this one was also a really nice little build. Decently sized base, not really early game, maybe not late game, but you could definitely get a lot of your stuff in here. The interior is a little bit messy, but I'm sure if you wanted to, you could customize it to work in whatever way you need. So yeah, you've got the bottom layer, middle layer, top layers, which is why it gets a little bit messy on the inside. But yeah, we got some plants here, still using the plant pots instead of mods to get it going. And then I think here on the outside, on the side, we've got a dino gate entrance as well, so you can easily drop off the stuff that you need to drop off. We've got a nice little back porch, turn it into a little garden to enjoy beautiful views whilst you're working on something. And then here we got our little crafting and storage area with the forge. We got more over here, more storage. And then the main crafting area back here, where all the other crafting stations are. Always hide extra storage underneath your staircases. Got the front here blending in quite nicely here as well. And then this is where the mess of layers starts a little bit on the inside. To reach this balcony, you could go over here. So this is, I guess, a tiny little bedroom for someone. Got some fireplaces, little place to hang out here. We got our power and everything. And then we got a bigger bedroom over here, as well as a nice little balcony on the side. But yeah, I mean, this land bridge is still a really cool location to build on. You got the redwoods on one side, and you got some snow on the other side. Nice giant waterfall right next doors to look at as well. So yeah, pretty exciting location, I would say. Definitely some nice views to be enjoyed. Let's head over to the waterfall, because there should be an ocean base right there. There we go. So this is my floating ocean base, which looks like just kind of floating above the ocean surface. And this is all because of course, there's a big foundation down in the water that makes that all possible. But yeah, it's a relatively easy base to build. Well, I mean, you do need to get the foundation down and build the little diagonal up, but as soon as you're above the water, of course, it gets a little bit easier. And it does have a decent amount of space on the inside to use whatever way you see fit. I kind of have a glass floor, so you can still look down. The only downside of it is, of course, you don't have a built-in water pen or anything, so you would still need to probably keep most things in cryos to keep them safe and not being attacked. Although you could add some turrets quite easily at the bottom of the base to help you keep things safe. And for the rest, I mean, there's a decent amount of size in here for your crafting, your storage, and whatever. And got some more room back here as well. And then, of course, you can still go up to the top, and you have this entire layer to use to your advantage too. So yeah, quite a nice little mid-size ocean base, I would say. Hello there Smurf, welcome in. So yeah, let's continue. I think the power was also off in here, so I will have to continue flying up to the next base, and that's gonna be along this river, I believe. Right in here, where we have a little woodland mansion, combining modern with a little bit more of a rustic design. This was all based on a request. I forget the name of the designer that was the inspiration for this kind of style. I want to say Floyd something. I don't know. Anyway, it's got a very distinct style, still using the A-frame, but a little bit more of a rustic version of it. And then this little bit out here, which is quite nice. It's a very open design on some parts, but a quite like that about it. So you have plenty of workspace here. We made a little outdoor garden, but you could also, of course, just have your crafting out here. And then, yeah, Frank Lloyd Wright, that's it. That's the one. And then, yeah, we have a decent amount of space on here. So you can either use this part as your main base, as I've used. But you could also use this as a dino pen and the other way around, because as you can see, there's plenty of space in the A-frame as well, which in this case is more of a dino pen design, because with the gates, you can quite easily get big tames in here, as long as they fit through the gate, of course. Quite a nice location on the center as well, by the way, here in one of these little inlets, where you kind of just have a peaceful place in the Redwoods. Also a little bit more open, so flying is a little bit safer here. Yeah, just a decent sized base with some nice space on the inside. And then here with these stairs, you can go up to the bedroom, as well as just a little rooftop garden, which you could, I suppose, also use to park your flyers up here and keep them quite safe, with another little smaller A-frame here to kind of blend it all together. But yeah, this was a really fun project, because this was just a request from a comment, and then I was like, well, I don't really know what this style is, and after some research, this is what came out. So it is still a modern build, of course, but it's also using some of the more typical structures like the stone and the wood, also using the frontier skins in a good way, I think, because they are some very nice skins. You can definitely do a whole lot more with them than just building some frontier or western stuff. That's for sure. So yeah, this is our little woodland mansion out here in the Redwoods. And then if we go a little bit this way, there should be big bases spawning in here. Let that all load in. Well, one of these you should recognize, because this is my ultimate tech base from the island that I really wanted to build again, because I hadn't really spent a lot of time with it. So I built it here. Still didn't really use it, but it's here for me to look at. I also thought I was getting rid of my island server, so I was gonna, you know, keep the build around to be able to see it, but didn't end up quite getting rid of the server, instead of just opening it up to more people. And then we have a giant water pen where I used to breed my Shestas. I think there's still some Dinosuchus here, and of course we got our big tech base for the center, which was this ocean tech base, which definitely also another really cool base. You can definitely see the influence from the island tech base. Oh, we can't see it, but it's the similar design language in those two bases for sure. You have, instead of an A-frame, you have big cubes that also continue under the water, and the same kind of build going all the way through from one side to the other. But the middle part is definitely a new, unique little design and a different kind of vibe to it. It is a very big base, that is for sure. We have the entrance down here. I was hoping to get my Shestas in, but of course they don't fit through gates, so it's parked right outside the front, keeping it safe by the turrets above it. And yeah, that's kind of just been hanging out here, to be honest. I don't think I did anything special inside. No, not really. There's not much to these. But yeah, it seems like a shame that you can't really fit them safely into a base. They also need a lot of clearance for the saddle to be even not clipping through anything. But yeah, this is definitely a pretty nice base. It's a big base for sure. But you have plenty of space for all your ocean breeding, because kind of this already starts the water pen, of course. And then when you go to either side of this, there's a water pen down here in these cubes. So your smaller to medium-sized tames you can breed inside of the cubes themselves, keeping them quite safe, of course. This is then also the dino section of this base. So again, for kibble, for eggs, hatching things, cryos, everything. Yeah, just the whole facility. And you could have a different layer on top if you need more space, but since it is already such a big base, I didn't really need it. This is also where I celebrated the Summer Bash event, as you can see. It was where the shark was born, and I doubt we'll ever be able to leave the shark behind fully, because The shark is just amazing. I love this skin, and I doubt I'll ever find something that I love more. I might use some skins for a little bit, like the werewolf and whatever, but I don't think we'll ever fully leave the shark behind. Anyway, we got these walkways connecting back up to the other side, going into the middle, but also on top here. We got the transmitter, we got a nice hatch frame, so we can easily drop off stuff on the inside as well. And then on the inside we have our little main base and living quarters, so the bedroom down here, some personal storage for both of us. We got some other decoration, little lounge area. And then we got a little bit of storage and basic crafting here, as well as the teleporter and easy access into the water, of course, since it is an ocean base after all. And then we have the main crafting area. I don't know why my summer skin has disappeared from these. That should not happen. But yeah, we got the whole setup here, basically everything you need. Plenty of storage and even more room if you want to make a next layer, of course. And on the inside we got the same thing where you can easily leave, and more space to park flyers or whatever on top everywhere. But yeah, I wonder why all my summer bash skins have disappeared. That is quite weird. Is that maybe because of the new changes? I don't know. We'll surely get them back at some point. But yeah, this is the big tech base that I built here on the center. I think, did we visit most bases already? Oh yeah, the chest not fitting through the gate. Yeah, that was a downside. But I mean, there's not much that we can do. I think that might be everything. Again, my waypoints are all gone, but yeah, we got this base. I don't have anything else, I think. Castle, raptors, breeding, and ruins. Stock mansion, this one. Probably is all we have. Let's check the bed. Welcome back, welcome back. The chicken is better. No. Better to eat for sure. Yeah, we did all the bases. We did all the bases. Okay, let's bring back the Pyromane before I forget. I mean, it's hard to miss. There's so many of them. But yeah, we tackled the center, which means we will continue to Aberration before going to Svartalfheim and Astraeus. No, actually, we'll do Aberration and Astraeus because that's all on this character, and then we'll go over to Svartalfheim and some of the cluster builds because that's on my other character. So yeah, that is the way we're gonna have to do it. Is there a travel place here? No, I guess there's not. So let's teleport to one that has. Yeah, let's go over to Aberration. And let's check out the builds over there. There's not that many on Aberration, so shouldn't take as long as some of these other maps. There we go. Whew. But yeah, I mean, a year of builds. There's definitely a lot of builds that we've made in 1 year. At first, I was gonna make just a video about this, and I was like, how long would it even take me to record this? Maybe I should just do it live. And I'm glad I did, because we're already, what are we, 2 hours in? What was the least favorite build you ever made? Well, obviously the castle in the center, because I didn't finish it. Like, that's a very obvious pick. But also maybe a cop-out answer. Quite easy to pick something that you didn't finish. Oh, I forgot how dark Aberration can be. All right, there we go. We're here on Aberration. Yeah, I like everything that I build on Aberration. The only downside of building on Aberration is just that the light, of course, is a little bit difficult here on Aberration. But yeah, we have a little starter base. Even though this is one of the last builds that we did, it is like a little starter base on a cliff platform. And it was a little bit of returning back to basics almost for me. Going back to a very simple build, not a very big build, and just mostly using wood, which is actually a quite fun little thing to do. Just go back to complete basics. No skins, or almost no skins. Nothing too big, nothing too fancy. Just a small little base. So yeah, various ways to get up to the platform. And then we got a little dino pen. That's why there's all the hay here. The place to park your smaller tames out here. A little garden here with the water, and then we got some storage, and of course the most important room with a little toilet. And then we have our little starter house up here. So storage, forge, utilizing every little bit of space you have. And then we got a little yeah, living room, but as well crafting, preserving bin, bed, and a little balcony to enjoy the views around as well. And then of course the main little crafting area. Again, enjoying the views because yeah, you might as well enjoy yourself when you're hot at work out there grinding on the ARKs. I'll revert myself. What's your least favorite build you've completed? Oof. What's my least favorite build I've completed? I don't know. Oh no, I do know. I personally do not like the community center that I built on Scorched Earth that much. And I just mean my building. I don't mean the entire town around it. I think that's pretty great. I just think the first building I made, I also kind of rushed it. I don't like that too much. It's also one of the very early builds, of course. But here on Aberration, I kind of worked mostly on just this one place, which is my little steampunk town, which all started with my little starter base over here. We've got the giant steampunk workshop and storage room there. We've got the hangar and the zeppelin there. And of course, the giant dino pen arena. I am still working on the tutorial for this, but it's just so big and complicated that it's not the best thing to do. I kind of shot myself in the foot, mostly by building these additions, which you wouldn't even be able to do on official because they kind of overlap into the entire structure. So most likely what you would do is keep these sides just going clean in the middle and don't add these buildings to the side, and only at the gatehouses, I suppose, if you want to, and if you even need that much space in a dino pen. I think you're probably better off just making the arena. So I'm kind of debating what I should do for a tutorial. I'm not sure. But yeah, we have a dino pen here with definitely plenty of space on the inside. As you can see, there's a space for quite a few tames here without running out. And then you've got all these side portions. So this was kind of designed with the yearling in mind. Different places where you can hop in, and then places down here for the best tame on Aberration. The little spiders. How I do miss them already. Yeah, and you can of course park your other tames here as well. We got a little place where I was hatching eggs, and I think someone left some eggs here and then left the server and never returned. But yeah, this was the dino room for all the hatching and everything. And then we have one of the main entrances where you could also go up, but I didn't really build a staircase because I didn't really know what to use all the space for. And then we got the hallway of cryos for all your breeding dreams you'll have plenty of space. And then of course this little temple bit. The problem is that these are triangles. So I extended these with normal ceilings to make the building front, but that does mean that they kind of have to overlap into the hallway. So yeah, that isn't very practical. I don't know why I did it, because you don't really need the space, nor do you gain much space. It kind of just looks a little bit nicer. That's all that really changes for the build. But it's, yeah, it's definitely not very practical or needed necessarily. But yeah, we can continue the hallway of cryos all the way to the other end, which is the normal entrance with the normal dino gates, which is kind of like a little mansion. Especially if you add another floor in it, you could easily make your house here as well. If you just want to build this as your entire base, it should definitely give you enough space. As you can see, there's quite a lot of space in here, especially considering that for me this entire part was mostly in a cliff. That's kind of why I made this tower design. But yeah, you don't need that necessarily, for sure. So yeah, the tutorial might look slightly different. I might just make the whole arena and leave out these weird additions that kind of only work with overlapping, and this one especially is also just clipped onto a mountainside, so it's a little bit different and difficult already, but it does look quite nice. And then this giant tower ends into a giant dome made out of greenhouse that I changed to the clinger structures, and then I made a little garden on top for the feather lights, because I anticipated the feather lights being here, but they never really they never really were here. But I mean, yeah, this is definitely a decent sized breeding dino pen area, using those new steampunk structures, which I think it does look quite nice. Maybe a little bit over the top. Could probably do without some of those, but I mean, I'm a builder. You can't stop me. I can't stop myself from building. There we go, the little starter house. This one I actually really like. This was the first proper go at the steampunk, and I really like all the different layers, because I could easily have left out some of these and still have a fine building for any other style that would probably have done. But of course, for the steampunk, you have to keep going. So we ended up with something like this, with yeah, just some nice layers and breaking up the basic shapes in every way, and with a decent amount of space on the inside as well. We got the whole little living room here, got a little greenhouse to the side, and then yeah, we got a little staircase up for some more storage, and our bedrooms of course. And then here you can access the clock as well to power and boost your crafting, although that isn't really starter basey, but I mean, you gotta have a clock in the base, right? And then actually I made my crafting down here out on the balcony, so I could enjoy the view, even though this is a slightly hostile place with a little spinos and everything spawning. But I mean, it's definitely fun to look at. And then of course we have some bridges here going over the river, over the waterfall here. Quite a cool spot. Oh my god, yeah, this is what I mean with the light here on Aberration. It's quite crazy. But yeah, we got the storage hall and workshop, which is another really cool build. We did complete the tutorial for this one. Quite a big build again, but I do really like the front. I also split this build up so that you could build just this front workshop as a crazy steampunk house and leave out the storage hall if you wanted to. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite steampunk. This might be my most steampunk build, I think. So yeah, you got the main little entrance with a decent amount of space. Then you have a little kitchen area down here. You got link storage and the clock up there, and then the main crafting hall here with even more space if I would want some more things in here. Little bedroom with the Cosmo, of course, very important, to the side. And then you could make more layers if you even need more space. And then of course we've got the giant storage hall behind here. I've used visual storage because I mean it just looks a lot nicer, because it kind of serves as decoration as well as storage, but just having vaults would work just as well, of course. I tried to use these pillars and beams as pipes. Doesn't really stand out that much, but now that the steampunk deco mod is out, I guess I could change these to actual pipes and get an even better effect of making this place look like a little bit of a some kind of factory, basically. And then we got a nice end here with some big windows to enjoy somewhat of the view outside, although they kind of obscure the view a little bit as well. But yeah, this was a really fun base to work on as well. Especially because it kind of turned into a town, right? Because I built everything kind of together. Because this is basically all the steampunk builds that I've done. These are all the steampunk builds that I've done just in one place. And then over here we've got the nice little platform hanging over the edge. And mostly we've got the Zeppelin hall, the hangar, and the Zeppelin itself. Quite like the hangar. That turned out quite nice. Worked within the normal limit of the Zeppelin, which is very limited indeed. Like, you can't do that much at all. You can have the bare minimum, but I mean, yeah, kind of felt like it made more sense to stay within that limit rather than to go crazy. Although, I mean, I guess it would be fun one time to just see, if you raise the limit a bunch, what kind of crazy Zeppelin you could build. But then I would also have to build a way bigger hangar probably to make it all work. But yeah, the steampunk town was definitely a fun one to work on, although I did go slightly crazy in Aberration as a builder, at least because of the lighting. I don't think it's the most friendly place for builders, although it can be quite nice, but just there's a lot of shades and yeah, makes it a little bit difficult to enjoy your builds at some time. Let's see, because we got a few other builds to visit here, because we did build some other things beside the steampunk and the little cliff platform. If in fact we will load. Oh no, we will crash instead. Why not? What is a little bit of ARK, you know, without a crash? 2 hours without a crash, I guess that might be some kind of record. I do like that. Like, I mean, you like the location in Aberration, of course. I think it's probably one of the better looking locations at the waterfall, overlooking the blue. It's also very practical, of course, being basically between blue and green, because you just have access to a lot of the things without having to travel too much, which is quite nice. I guess now we kind of need to wait for it to unload me and then I can join again. Yeah, it is a really fun location. Definitely one of the better ones. There's a few ones that I really like for bases. This is definitely in the top 3 where I would build if I have to pick a spot, which is why I did. All right, well, I've got to wait a little bit before it realizes that I'm no longer on the server, so it lets me join again. There we go. I think it's now realized that I'm no longer there. Yeah, we got a few more builds to check out on Aberration, and then we'll go to my Australia server to check out my builds we've got on Australia so far before hopping over to Svartalfheim and the other community server builds that I have, because I have some on the center as well. I don't think we'll go and check out the Scorched one, because it's just one small building. There we go. I think I might be back in. There we go. We are back and we're in my tech outpost here on Aberration. We got the whole room here. I remember that I was trying to change to all these cool quantum skins, but they're just too bright here in the blue zone. The base itself is quite nice. I did make a tutorial for it, and don't worry, I built the tutorial on the center so you could see what I'm doing a little bit better. But yeah, this was loosely inspired as well by the Indominus Rex pen from Jurassic World. That's why there's a viewing platform into this dino pen here. And then we got the whole little base here, which, I mean, it pretty much has everything you would need. You might need some more storage if you want to use it as your main base, but as like an outpost, which is what it kind of was designed for. Maybe, you know, if you want to go Reaper hunting, you would have a little outpost out here. I guess you could technically even build a trap in here, maybe, if I knew how to do that. I don't. I did not tame my Reaper by building my own trap. I just visited a very well made trap. There we go. Does this still work? Oh no, I need to go this side, I think. This one goes down. It's so dark in here. There we go. So yeah, we have a little dino pen basically. So yeah, this was meant as like an outpost. This is like inspired by the Indominus Rex pen. So this viewing platform sticking out into the pen. Of course, I ran into the landscaping a little bit, but I actually quite like that. Makes it look more deliberate and part of the world. And then this little outpost on the side is quite nice as well. I like the shapes on this. Kind of rounded shapes a little bit more than what you would normally maybe have. But yeah. Yeah, the light on Aberration makes things tricky. But I do really like this position with the tree, because it just gives a lot of, well, quote unquote natural light here that you can use without going too bright, that some of these lights tend to do, unfortunately. But yeah, this was a really fun little detour to work on, because of course the required tech base on each world, and this kind of serves as the tech base for Aberration. I didn't really build anything bigger than this on here. Oh, I did run out of power here apparently, because I can't teleport away anymore. So I guess we'll be just finding a way back home by flying back up. Because there's one more build besides the steampunk town that we have over here and the tech outpost we have in the blue zone. I also prepared some spooky build in anticipation of getting the Fear Ascended event. I think, yeah, it's over here. There we go. So we built a little haunted mansion out here. There we go. It's still up here. I didn't really end up using it too much because, I mean, to be honest, so far I've spent most of the event doing it on Club ARK because it's quite easy to get stuff there. But I do really like this mansion as a build itself. Quite like the look of it, the creepy vibe, the signs using it to make it look abandoned. A little bit of overgrown. Vines everywhere, of course, using JVH again. And yeah, just got a cool vibe. But I think even if you would build this as a normal mansion and leave out all the abandoned and broken windows, I think this is a pretty nice building. You know, it's got some nice details to it. I like these little details that we also use on the steampunk builds. But I think someone in the stream suggested using these lanterns on top to make them a little bit more spiky. Quite like that. Especially for if you're just using the main vanilla pieces and you don't have like steeper roofs. That's quite a nice way to still get a little bit more height in those tower roofs. And then yeah, we got a very overgrown looker in the inside, but I do really like this place for some reason. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just because it's got a lot of character to it. Like there's a lot of character to this build. I did reach the limit of signs in this areas. Yes, your suggestion. Good. Good. Yeah, it does look quite nice. I'm very happy with this build. Yeah, but those are my Aberration builds. Yeah, didn't really build anything more than that. We spent most time on Aberration working on our steampunk town. And then of course we yeah, yeah, that is all of the builds I did, I think. So let's go find ourselves a transmitter out of here. And that will bring us to Astraeus, which is, I mean, that's definitely still ongoing. I plan many more builds over the lifetime of Astraeus, since it's going to be getting updates for like 2 more years. But yeah, let's visit it now. And then we still have some more. So yeah, we're definitely not done yet with this tour. Can we finish in 3 hours? That is the big question. I don't know. We'll see. How long is it going to take to visit all my builds? Okay, apparently it's now asking me for updates, even though I was on Astraeus just before I started the stream. That's weird. But yeah, lots of builds, lots of builds. I'm quite happy that I decided to do the tour live on stream instead of just recording it. I might still turn it into a video afterwards, but at least, yeah, this was a good choice, because otherwise I would have been talking to myself for about 3 hours, and now at least some interaction with you guys. All right, we're almost in. And we also already have a fair amount of builds on Astraeus. And this is actually only on my server, because of course on the public one, we're also working on a giant city. We might end up in there. Yeah, I think... Well, normally I, of course, do like my best builds of this map, which is fine because I can record that usually within an hour. But because there's so many, and this was like a year of builds, it's also like a special moment, right? A year of doing this. It's basically the 1 year anniversary we're celebrating right now. All right, I'm loading into the world. Let's make sure that we have some nice light. And there we go. Astraeus. Of course, this was the little starter base I built. The first building with these new structures. I quite like this build, and especially the little additions I made later. Got the gate. Oh yeah, I totally keep forgetting that they added now the this as the default structure. It's quite shiny, which I'm not sure I like. I would like it as an option, but it feels a little bit too shiny for default materials for like streets and stuff. But it's definitely better than having the flower everywhere, especially for like builds like this where you connect a lot of different areas to each other. I haven't actually been at this place since he changed that. But yeah, we got the little Santorini inspired buildings, which are more like details for the bigger builds. And then we got this workshop over here. Well, it's good to see that at least all of these have the right texture. Like, not some that are still flowers, it seems. I do still need to work on this, because the idea, of course, is that this is slowly going to turn into some kind of town. But because I did so much work on the Greek city that we're building in survival, I kind of slowed down on building more Greek stuff at the same time. Just not to get burned out on one style, you know, and kind of spread my wings doing some different builds. But yeah, I'm still quite happy with these buildings, and I will slowly at some point, you know, start expanding this town a little bit more. At least finishing this area, because we kind of have some infrastructure ready for some buildings here as well. And we have this giant villa right here in front of us. This is one I really, really like, especially the look of this. This angle is just quite nice. The gardens in front with the pools, all the different layers. Feels like it suits this area quite well. It's quite a big building. The only downside is that on some of the inside it kind of overlaps into the landscape. But yeah, overall it just looks quite nice. Oh yeah, here we do have some of these that don't seem to have the right variation. But overall, most of them seem to have updated to the new skin without too many issues. I guess it's where I used ceilings because, yeah, that's probably a ceiling instead of a foundation. But yeah, we got a nice inner courtyard here for a big villa, which looks quite nice. And of course, the only downside, as I said, it kind of clips into the terrain. But, I mean, it still looks all right. It's a very big villa. Very big villa. With plenty of different rooms everywhere, branching off in different directions. And, well, this is the big version that I made here in Creative. I made a smaller variant on my own world. Or, no, this is not my world. I made a smaller version in the survival city on the community server, which we'll see at the end, I suppose. But yeah, I do really like this style of build, especially with this structure set, of course. It's so inspiring to work with because the structures look so good by themselves, and you can make some really cool stuff with them working together. All right, then we're going into... Let's go into the swamp. Let's go into the swamp over here for some spooky vibes, and it's gonna get a little dark, and we'll go to the little witch's hut that we made out here in the swamp. I really like this build. This is like the perfect vibe for Halloween, of course, the spooky season, Fear Ascended event now as well. This fits it all very well. Using some custom cosmetics, the Halloween custom cosmetics for some of these props, as well as the fog machine mod to add in the red fog, and of course architect structures remastered for these roofs, which are really perfect for this kind of creepy haunted vibe. And then yeah, we got a graveyard down here as well. So every year for Fear Ascended, I know where I can come. A little creepy witches are out here in the swamp. Yeah, it's gonna be quite fun, especially if I kind of forget about it and just start playing more survival and then run into this in the swamp, looking all creepy out here. But yeah, it's a very small build, of course, but I like the character and yeah, a good theme that is going on. Not sure if I'll keep the fog machines on the server all year, but at least the build will persist for sure. And then if we go this way a little bit, we got the futuristic ocean base that we recently built on stream right over there. Yeah, this is well, yeah, you can definitely tell that this isn't the first base I've built. There's definitely some lessons that's been learned along the way that has been put into this base. But this is another pretty decent sized base. You can definitely do a lot here, as you can see. I can easily park my wyvern. Also, look at the beautiful colors on this. I love these colors. Yeah, and I love the overgrown feel of this building. Having that on the top, I think, just really adds a lot to it. And then we got the Shasta docking bay, because we now, of course, are experienced and we know the problems of Shastas not fitting in everywhere. So you can just park them here out at the dock, and the dock can teleport you into the rest of the base. And you've got these big landing platforms, plenty of space to work on or just to park your flyers, bringing your other tames. And then we have the ocean pen where you can do breeding, even with a little building to chill out in between the breeding. You know, if you need to catch your breath or, you know, whatever you need to do, you can also teleport in and out so that you don't need to swim up all the time if you don't want to. Yeah, quite happy with the way that turned out. And then, of course, you've got the elevators to go up to the living quarters of this build. Yeah, got a nice little decoration here using the Quantum Premium Custom Cosmetic, which is quite a cool skin for these futuristic builds. They've got all the crafting tables and structures and everything with skins as well. And then here is the new beauty. The cyan pyromane. Perfection. Absolute perfection. Yeah, I love this. This is Simba. He's now been fully realized. And hopefully will never disappoint me, because there's some crazy stats on that. Which should definitely serve me well if I do go caving. But yeah, there we go. The futuristic ocean base. Definitely really like this. And this will serve me well for all the exploration in the ocean. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of that on us trails. My survival episodes have been on a low pitch recently. But I need to kind of figure out a way to pick that up, because I haven't been doing all the caves on the maps. And that was my one goal when I started this game 1 year ago. To finally do all the caves and stuff and do the bosses. But playing on the community server has made me lazy, because the community server is so great. You just show up and you can join the boss fight without having to gather all the stuff yourself. But I definitely want to start doing that as well again. Time-wise, I just need to figure out how and when. But yeah, it's going to be great. By the time this map is finished, which might take a while, I'm going to have so many cool bases. I can't wait for the next region that's coming up, because that looks great. And I got some cool plans for that other area as well already. Let's go over here, because that villa that I built on survival, I also built here. But then I turned it into a medieval villa instead of the Greek version. And I actually really do like the way this turned out, especially because I spent time painting the wooden structures here, blending it in with the frontier skins, as well as the steampunk pillars down here. Then I made the roof cyan, but for some reason the cyan turned out a little bit more greenish than actual cyan. But I mean, still looks nice. Still really like the way this turned out, especially the white wood looks quite good. Very distinct kind of feeling for this base. And it's right here in the middle of the greenwood or the redwoods. And yeah, it looks quite nice with these rivers, these waterfalls flowing down. Quite a lovely area, as well as just a very nice base. It's quite compact, but it does have plenty of space. Like, there's so much space that I didn't really even know what to do with most of these interiors anymore, just because there's already so much to do. You've got built-in stables on both sides. You've got your little courtyard. Then you got the main villa, where you have this little entrance with some storage. You've got proper storage down this side. Got like a little kitchen area over on this side. And then we have all the other layers as well. Like, we've got more storage and crafting here. We've got the bedroom up here and some cryos. So yeah, there's a lot of space in a base like this. And then you have those two houses left as well. Like, this is quite big. Yeah, there's now Onyx everywhere because of the Halloween event. But yeah, I like it. And I especially also like just the location. You know, just being in the forest and then spotting a build like that is quite cool. Yeah, so that is one of the projects that I've got going on. And then, of course, a very, very recent project is the Viking village that we did during Extra Life as one of our streams for that. So yeah, I built this stave church. I will be working on a tutorial for this building, both a vanilla version and a ASR version. But yeah, really happy with the way this whole town or the whole village turned out in one stream. We got a nice little graveyard out here. I installed JVH gardening as well to make the path through the town. Got some builds from Johnny. Not all of these are mine, which is now something that I need to say on this server. No longer all my builds. But yeah, this was a really fun stream, and I really hope I'll be able to do more things like this in the future, because it's quite fun to build with other people. I mean, just look at the amount of things that we got done. It was a 4.5 hour stream, but still, we did do a lot. I've got this lovely Viking village that I'll able to pass by on my adventures or buildings on trails. And then we got the longhouse lands built here. Quite nice. And the best thing, if I ever feel lonely on my servers, I can just come and hang out with Lance and Johnny. They're very talkative. They're very friendly. You know, makes me feel like I'm no longer alone on here. It's really nice. But yeah, this was a really fun project. I'm quite happy with this, and I definitely think I'll do more things like this. Maybe not just for Extra Life, you know, as just more regular, because only doing it once a year might be might be a little long of a wait. I need help. No. It looks like you need help, my friend. Looks like you need some help. All right. Well, we've got the village. We got the village. I think, yeah, that is all that is currently on here. So, I think I might join my friends and we'll hop over to the community cluster again. And we can hopefully check out some last builds that we haven't visited yet. Like Svartalfheim, like I have some builds on... Oh, I think it's mostly Svartalfheim actually. Yeah, let's just go to Svartalfheim because otherwise transferring and everything is gonna take... No, I guess the center actually I have some builds as well. I guess the center and Svartalfheim is what we need to visit. But I was on the island, so I need to join that first. Oh yeah, I mean, that is the biggest challenge of streaming, you know. Dividing your attention. Now I need to download mods to join the island? I was literally just here at the start of this stream. What changed? Nothing can have changed. Well, sounds like we're having a tiny break until I'm allowed back in. I will quickly go and grab some water and I'll be right back. Alright, we're back on the island, but now we need to transfer to the the center. I guess we're gonna go first, and then we'll go to Svartalfheim, and we'll end on Trails again, but then the community version. Let's go transfer before we get back into ARK. Let's hope it doesn't have to update every time, because then this might take a while. Looks like it's going smoothly. We might have to do some of these stores at night, because I doubt that people will be too happy if I change the time of day, especially on the map like the center, where there probably, or there could be someone hunting some dreadmares, you know. All right, let's see. We can go back into the game. So yeah, we got my little Hagrid's hut out here. Let's go outside. It's quite spooky out here now. I actually need to craft some of my element into normal so that we can fly. So yeah, we got Hagrid's hut out here. It's a little bit dark because of the time of the day. And it is going to stay like this for a while, and people might be hunting Dodorex, and they might be hunting Dreadbear, so I can't really change it. But yeah, we got Hagrid's hut out here, of course, because Banana was working on Hogwarts. It felt appropriate to do it again, but then this is the modded version with the much spikier roofs out here. Wait, maybe what we can do is we can look at it like this. So yeah, we have the much spikier roof with ASR, which is probably closer to what I prefer. Adds a little bit more shape to it, right? You know, having that little curve with the 3 different variants of steepness that they have, which is quite nice. And then also using these Amissa structures, it's just quite nice of a look, I think. You know, looks a little bit more suited. It's also raised up a little bit as a different look. And then we've got the living room here. Very simple decorations, not too much to it. And then my other little room back here. So that's really all that we have here on the center. Well, there's also the Owlery, but we've also got down Svartalfheim. So I think we'll go over to Svartalfheim and we'll look at the builds right over there. So let me just quickly transfer again. Shouldn't take too long. And on Svartalfheim, we should be able to change the time if we want to. All right. Well, apparently we're updating Svartalfheim now. What a lovely stream. This is why I usually don't transfer too much during streams, because this can happen. And I thought I had everything up to date, but apparently not. Apparently a few updates slipped through. Stream probably won't like this too much because I'm downloading now and streaming. 2 streams at the same time. This probably isn't too good. And of course we have to download an entire map. Well, hopefully this won't take too long. We might just keep it at this then. I don't know. Well, we got so close. We might as well finish it. Whether we have to download everything or not. And whether the stream survives or not. We will go on. The show must go on. Okay, it's not too bad. It's going quite fast. Okay. Well, this might take a little bit longer than I anticipated. But hopefully we will get there without too many issues. I guess that's the risk of doing this just a day after the new version of Svartalfheim came out, because bound to be some updates to tweak some things. Alright, well, we're over halfway there. So hopefully it's not going to take too much longer. There we go. I think it's finally done downloading Svartalfheim, so hopefully that will help the stream a little bit, because I don't think it liked downloading very much. But we should be able to continue now. Hopefully. All right, let me get back into everything. All right, there we go. The ultimate waiting game. Yeah. Updating a mod live. Well, there we go. We are back on Svartalfheim. And yeah, we got a few builds here, of course. This was my little Japanese starter place here in the Blossom biome, where I basically did a lot of the builds I did before, but then using some modded structures to improve the look and design, as well as creating this smaller version of the building as well. It's a lot easier with the mods, of course, because they always have the different pieces you need to connect these corners, etc. So it's a lot easier to get these, the nice designs going that you want to have, where you have to use some trickery usually for, for the normal ARK. But yeah, this seems to be a lot easier if you get all the pieces. I can only hope that one day we'll get some of those missing pieces in the normal ARK as well. And then we have the castle again. Oh, it seems like some of these structures updated and are now completely rotated the wrong way. Well, that's fun, isn't it? That's definitely not the way it should be. Oh no, they ruined my build. Well, I guess that means it's time to move on to the next base. And there's only really one proper base that we definitely should visit whilst we're out here. And that is, of course, the castle. That is the one and only place that we definitely should be visiting, because that is the Svartalfheim base. You know, that is the base. So there we go. We have the courtyard. Of course, I recently did a tour of this, but yeah, this has been my biggest project probably, just sheer structure wise, because I had to raise the limit just to be able to continue and finish this. But yeah, this is a big one. Got the whole courtyard out here, which is the dino pen as well. Actually also a community center for this world, although not much used because not very many people have Svartalfheim. And there we go. We got the giant castle, the giant tower, the main hall, all the different structures. Yeah, this is definitely a fun project, but a very long-term project. I took plenty of breaks in between from this. But yeah, now I do have my own magical Hogwarts castle, which is quite nice. And yeah, we got a courtyard over here using a lot of the dwarven structures, some ASR, some custom cosmetics like the Gothic one and the Manor mod were all used in this project, and a couple of these Klinger structures, Amisa structures, things like that. We got the main hall over here, which is definitely Hogwarts inspired, because didn't really know what else to do with this base, to be honest. And yeah, then we got the flags hanging back there. We got, of course, the big main tower, the crazy tower with the crazy staircases all the way to the top. And yeah, there's so much room in this base, pretty much more than I would ever need or use, but I am quite happy with the way it turned out. And I do still plan on playing more survival on Svartalfheim, and you know, doing all the caves, the bosses and everything. And then I think it's going to be quite useful to have so much space, because no matter what I need, I'll still have plenty of space left in this building to use and to dedicate, because we have some areas like we've got the craft or the hatching area here. We have the crafting hall coming up down here. So we have some of the basic things that we need for a base, but there's definitely, of course, some other things that that might pop up whilst I start playing more survival, and then we should be able to find a space for them, because even though we have some areas already down, there's definitely plenty of empty space. That's all good. Then we do have some Viking houses out here on the map all the way in the snow, but those are pretty much the same as we saw on Astraeos. Speaking of Astraeos, well, now we have seen the big Svartalfheim build. I think it's only fitting to end it at the giant Greek city we're building on Astraeos. So we're going to take the risk once more, and we're going to risk it to transfer to the community server Astraeos this time. See if we can finish it there in the Greek city, and then we'll finally have a complete tour of all my bases. But first we'll have to go all the way up into the giant tower, because for some reason I thought it would be nice to build my transfer station there. I do have a teleporter up there, but you know, for the tour we'll walk up there all the way, the crazy staircases of the Hogwarts castle, up to the travel station. All right, let's quickly transfer. Hopefully no more downloading fun. Hopefully no more downloading fun. That would be nice. That would be very, very nice. Of course, I need to make sure that I make my element into travel element, otherwise I can't transfer. But yeah, so many builds in 1 year. I definitely won't do the same thing next year. I won't do 2 years of builds, because that would take way too long. We'll have to start picking the best ones, I suppose, at that rate. But yeah, it is quite crazy to realize that it has already been a year for me playing this game. Hello there, welcome in, welcome in. All right, let's quickly transfer over to Astraeos. That seems to go just fine. And now all we need to do is wait for everything to load in, because I don't know why. It's definitely not because we made a giant town. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes it takes just a little bit longer here on Astraeos. All right, I think we're good to go. And there we go. Actually, we probably need some element. Is it me, or do these roofs look different than they used to? These look a lot more blue. Is that because we turned off the fog? Nope. Why? Why did they change color so much? I guess clingers might have been updated or something. They're a little bit darker, and it seems like a bit brighter or something, because they don't match as well with the other roofs anymore. Yeah, I think he might have updated the colors or something, because this is definitely changed. But yeah, this is our giant Greek city that we're working on in survival. Progress has slowed down a little bit, as we've slowly taken a little bit of breaks from the project, you know. As well as now, as you can see, the structure's changed. So now we need to update a lot of these areas where the flowers are still visible and in other areas they're not. So it's a little bit messy. Ooh, we have a chicken here. But yeah, there's been lots of progress, of course. I mean, these are not all my builds. Definitely not. But I mean, a lot of this side of the town, the right side of the town, there is a lot of my builds. But this is, of course, a huge tribe project. And eventually we'll get it completely finished. It's alright. This was supposed to be a long-term project in the first place. It kind of turned into a very short-term project because this map hasn't been out for a month. And we've already built all this. So, yeah. Definitely worth taking a little break to get some fresh inspiration. But there's still been some new additions, especially this whole port. Not from me. I think the last thing I built was... I think it might be the new teleporter location as well as these stairs and the little house. Yeah, this is quite a crazy base to build a survival within the month. But that's the power of working in a tribe, because we've been, well, we started with 2 of us, but eventually, like 5 or 6 of us have been working on this, and then also just with helping with resources. Oh, there's actually, look at that, we can do some live building here. You can watch some live structures being made right over there. But yeah, this has been an amazing fun project. Like, this is the first proper tribe base where we all got to do our own part, but still work together to a larger goal. But yeah, this is really confusing to me that all the roofs have changed colors now. Not sure if I like the change. They're a little bit too dark now. Might have to fiddle around with different colors to see if we can get a better match again. But yeah, definitely a really cool project. But with that, that means that we've kind of circled all the way around from the first builds on the island to all my private world builds, but also some of the community server builds, and made it through 1 year, 1 whole year of ARK Survival Ascended builds. I mean, if you would have asked me last year and you would have shown me all this, I'd have said, you're insane. Why would I ever build all of that? Because, I mean, that was before I knew that I was going to go crazy with this building. But it's been a crazy fun adventure. And even though it's already been a year, and even though we've already built so many different bases, I still have plenty of ideas to keep going. So we'll definitely be going on for a long time. I mean, there's still so many ARK maps to still come. And now, of course, it's been not just the building, but also the amazing community that we have formed over this first year. So many reasons to keep going like this. But yeah, there's been some amazing builds, and there's still some new things that I want to try, some different projects that I have already envisioned. I'm still trying to come up with what the heck I'm gonna build with the wasteland structures that we'll get at Extinction, because of course that's the next new big building thing that we're gonna get, is all the new wasteland skins. So I guess I need to start looking at what kind of post-apocalyptic builds that I want to start doing. The first thing that came into my mind when I saw them was just place a bunch of random structures and change the skins to wasteland, and it will look nice. But probably should do something a little bit more well thought out. But I don't know if I want to admit this, because I got already flagged for not having seen Jurassic Park and World, which I did watch, of course, since. I haven't actually seen any Mad Max, so I can't really draw inspiration from that. I've played a little bit of Fallout. I suppose something like that could work, maybe, with those skins. Maybe even some Walking Dead vibes, you know, just any apocalyptic. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to do another movie marathon to get inspired. Yeah, I mean, there's probably plenty of little things we could do, like a little shanty. I don't want to say towns, because if everything is going to turn into a town, it's going to escalate, you know. I'm going to have to build too much. So, oh, Barter town. Oh boy. Guess more towns. But who knows? We'll see. I'm glad that we at least got a glance at some of the structures, because we can already start brainstorming and thinking of things before the whole thing drops. And we still have over a month to think of what builds we're going to do. So we have some time to get inspired for Extinction. And of course, in the meantime, there's plenty of other build projects that I will continue to work on. This one will be one of them, most likely. There's actually some other builds that I want to do on my own worlds as well. Look at the little chicken in the distance. I do know the Mad Max movies, but I've not seen them. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. There's plenty of things to do. We still have a month of other builds before we dive into the Extinction craziness. And I'm sure we'll figure out some cool builds. And this was all the builds for 1 year. I can't wait to see what we do in the second year. If you enjoyed any of the builds or all of the builds, please leave a like if you're on YouTube, subscribe, and I will see you with more ARK soon. I think I might also be jumping back into Enshrouded a little bit. Not to replace ARK in any way, but I think it would be nice to do some different kind of buildings as well. But we'll see. I don't know, because time-wise is always going to mess me up. So I want to, but I don't know if time-wise it would be working out to do a full survival game next to this as well. So we'll see. I have the urge to try it again, but we'll see if I actually have the time to do it again. At least we'll have plenty more coming. So whether you have great ideas for post-apocalyptic bases that I need to do, or, you know, any other bases that you still want to see, let me know. And hopefully I'll see you around in one of the next streams or videos. I hope Enshrouded, I think Enshrouded is going to go crossplay next year. So maybe, you know, you can have some fun stuff in Enshrouded then as well. Because it is a pretty fun game. And they just released a major update. So who knows? Anyway, guys, that will be it for today's stream. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sitting through the update troubles. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my builds. And I'll see you in the next video or stream. For now, goodbye.